Oh, hey bitch. Oh, excuse you. Baloney wash. I'm annoyed. I'm just here to give my opinion and carry in. Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome and happy Tuesday. It's your boy, Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, a show we basically talk about all things going on in pop culture and hot topics. Wait, hold on. I just realized I didn't even check to see if my audio levels is good. But anyway, and I do all my checkerizations, which I should have did before I went live. But I didn't want people getting on me again to my I'm late. But anyway, if that's the show for you, definitely stick around because we got a lot of tea to spill today, including this David charge that's going around where he was charged with Red Rumor, that 14-year-old girl that he hunched and I think allegedly got pregnant. That's got to be the stupidest damn name, D4VD. Score yourself David, bitch. Anyway, so we got that. Plus, some celebrity, I think it was only two celebrities that got fined at Coachella for going over the curfew, which has happened many a times at the Garden. But we talking about Coachella, and they had to pay $40,000, I believe. We'll get into that story. Plus, speaking of Coachella, we got to talk about Stolechella because apparently Madonna's outfit got stolen, and TMZ did a report where they said they don't think that someone outright stole it. They believe they have a theory on what may have happened to her outfit. We'll get into that. We got to talk about this Michael biopic. It is getting destroyed by critics. I'm not surprised. And then LaToya Jackson is revealing why Janet is not in the movie, and Jaafar is revealed the misconception that he thinks regarding his uncle or whatever, a misconception about him and all that stuff. So we'll get into that. Also, so we're gonna go from that and talk about The Devil Wears Prada 2, where apparently Sweeney had a cameo in the movie and was cut, among others. We'll get into all the people who was cut from the film. Megan Thee Stallion lost her cyberstalking ban case against Milagro, the blogger who she took to court not too long ago. We'll get into that story. Kimora Simmons can't seem to keep a damn man because I think this might be her third or fourth husband, filed for divorce and basically wants her to, and I guess wants spousal support, but he was out here money laundering. So we'll get into that. Eric Benét is cussing out his damn family because he said that they are mad at him because he be cussing on his social media. So he got some words, and we're going to play the clip because it was hilarious. So we're going to get into that. Plus, there was a story that I came across that apparently a tenant got evicted after being caught hunching on the apartment balcony. Some people are saying that one of the cousins said the neighbors should mind their own damn business. Do y'all think that that's a little harsh that you kicking somebody out of an apartment building for doing something in the privacy of their own home? Or is it like, are people doing too much? We'll break it on down and all that good stuff. Then we got to talk about there's a new Heated Rivalry book coming out, not the book that Rachel Reed is writing. Apparently, the creator of the show is coming out with a book in regards of giving some backstage casting secrets, the costumes, how they choreograph the sex scenes, and all that good stuff. Plus, last but certainly not least, this is gonna be a short and sweet show today because there's not a lot going on. But I was like, I have to give y'all a show because I did promise to give y'all a show. So I'm here to give y'all a show. And our last topic that we're gonna have, unless something comes out and y'all bring it to me in a thing like y'all did yesterday with some breaking news. We're gonna talk about this season 19, alleged season 19 queen that is rumored to be on the show. Tammy Faye, who has been accused of being a Trump supporter. She outright admitted it, not even of being accused. I got the clips. We gonna play, I got it all. We're gonna talk about it. And the fact that is production choosing this person because they're trying to rage bait us, which they was literally trying to do this entire season of Drag Race season 18. So we'll get into that and a whole lot more. And I'll bring it on down to give my overall thoughts, as y'all know I usually do. But before we get to those topics, if you could please do me a solid, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And also be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. We also have super chats, super stickers, and memberships, all that good stuff. So if you want to help out that way, you can. But also hitting that like and subscribe, it definitely helps the channel go a long way. and pushing it out there with the algorithm and all that good stuff. So, and thank you all, the new subscribers, the people that hype up the channel, all you that have been helping trying to support this show in any way that you do. Speaking of which, I wanted to ask y'all, was I freezing? Because while I was talking, I was playing around with some stuff to see if, like, was I having a freezing moment? Hopefully we not, because I'm about sick of stream y'all with the foolishness. Let me know in the comments. Um, Onyx is in the building. Robert said I sent you a last minute storyline. Scooter Braun is now being revealed to be the chill. Um, the mastermind of the smear campaign on Blake Lively and Rebel Wilson by the Hollywood Reporter, who said last March of 2025 that a further investigation would reveal it's all Scooter Braun pulling the strings as he's friends with just about Donny. Scooter ain't nothing but the devil. I'll have to definitely look into that. Offensive Thoughts is in the building. He said, no, I don't believe in kicking out people if they were doing something in their own apartment. However, if you're going to be an asshole and purposely and try and disturb my peace with loud music, I'm going to call the landlord. Hola, how you doing? How you doing? Cleveland's in the building. I guess we good over here if I'm actually not having a little freezerization situation because nobody responded whether or not I was. So hold on, let me check, let me pull that story up. Oh, mhm. Hold on. You know what? I will add this to the show. I'm like, where do I fit it though? They haven't started yet. Well, man, I'm not gonna. Mhm. I was like, I just be seeing stuff at the last minute. I see the Hollow Reporters of the story, so we'll break it on down and go through it. And I'll just have to give my overall because I'll read it along with the class when we get around to that. Because this will be the first time. I don't have any time to like go through it right now because I'm live, but I'll just have to go through it and try to hope my brain will comply to give my overall thoughts. I'm like, okay, so where could I squeeze this? Maybe we could squeeze it. Oh, I know the perfect spot. We'll do it right around. Does that mean I'm freezing? I guess I am. I guess we'll put it around we'll do it around the Sydney Sweeney story. I think that'll be a good time to put that because I'm like, that'd be a perfect transition since they fucking in real life. That'd be the great transition. Oh Lord, here we go. So I guess it is because I was like, it was fine before. Now it's one. Now once she want to act up, bitch. Oh, yeah. I don't know why it's continuing to do that. No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to end the stream. Hold on, let me just refresh. I don't even know. Oh, look, he's back. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to help at this point. I don't know if it's still freezing or not, but we just going to have to figure this shit out. Bastards. I did see quite a few of you did say that it was freezing or whatever. All right. So, let me take this out. Let me hit the banner. Okay. Well, let me know if it's freezing again. Hopefully it's not. Because I just like had to refresh this thing twice. And when I click back over, it look like my mouth is moving. But anyway, let's get into topic number one. And let's talk about this D4VD, David. That is such a stupid freaking name, but whatever. But okay, well, is what it is. So we're gonna have to freeze, and then I'm just gonna have to send another situation to these to StreamYard because they working my root canal nerve. But anyway, take two and action. So let's get into our first topic, and let's talk about this case regarding David and the fact that he went and unalived this young underage girl because allegedly he done hunched her or whatever the case was. So let's get into her. So the singer pled not guilty on Monday for the unaliving charge in the red rum charge in the unaliving of a 14-year-old girl who was last known to be alive nearly a year ago and whose dismembered and decomposed body was found in the entertainer's apparently abandoned Tesla. And of course, of all the things you had it in was a vehicle owned by that old psychopath Elon Musk. Now, in a press conference on Monday, District Attorney Nathan Hochman said that the singer, whose real name is David Burke, because he had to get creative with that lame ass name, would face a first degree red rum charge, which could potentially make him eligible for the death penalty. He will also face charges for lewd acts with a child and for dismembering the girl's body. So you literally out here being a goddamn sex offender, and you knew you weren't supposed to hunch that child, and then instead of knowing that what you was doing was wrong, you thought by taking her life and dismembering the body that was going to make it go away. And now your past has caught up to you, allegedly. So now the victim, Celeste Rivas Hernandez, went to Burke's home in the Hollywood Hills on April 23rd, 2025, Hochman said. That was the last time she was seen alive. Her body was found 5 months later. Hochman declined to say how Rivas was killed, but said the coroner's report would be released shortly, saying, quote, there is physical evidence that there is forensic and digital evidence that we intend to present in court to prove these charges beyond a reasonable doubt. The charges include allegations that Burke used a sharp instrument to unalive Rivas. At an arraignment on Monday afternoon, Burke's attorney entered a not guilty plea on his behalf. Now, Hochman alleged that Burke was having a relationship of the sexual kind with Rivas, who was 14 when she died and 13 when she ran away from home. So you was out here thinking these grown ass men was going to sit up in, or grown ass man was going to sit up in here and save you, and you out here laying low and spreading it wide. But that still don't give you the grown man a right who knows better because her frontal lobe ain't developed yet. She's a young girl. You know, young people are, when they look up to older people, it's impressionable to them. So that's still, you as a grown ass man should have known better to be messing around with a kid. So then Hochman alleged that Burke was, well, I already read that part. Now, Burke is accused of red rum with multiple special circumstances that make the case eligible for either the death penalty or life without parole. Those include lying in wait, red rum for financial gain, and red rumming a witness to a crime, as Rivas is considered a witness to a lewd act charge. Now, at the press conference, LAPD Chief Jim McDonald defended the decision not to release details of the investigation sooner, saying, my duty is not to fuel speculation. It's to deliver justice, and that requires patience and discipline on everyone's part. This investigation was driven by a single purpose: to secure justice for Celeste Rivas and for those who loved her. Now, and I do feel like, you know what, a lot of people want things to get rushed out, but it's like, no, take your time when it comes to, you got to, when it comes to these type of cases, or any case, I would think you should dot your I's and cross your T's before you even get to a point where you want to start rushing things. Because once you start rushing things, things will get messed up and then the case is messed up. So I'm glad that they decided to take their time before they came to this conclusion. So Burke was arrested and held without bail last week following a lengthy investigation by the LAPD's Robbery Homicide Division. The case began back in September 2025 when LAPD officers were called to the Hollywood tow yard to investigate a foul odor emanating from a car. Now, you should know that if you leave a body up in a situation for a long time, the shit gonna stink. I don't know if they're gonna stink like Ginger Minj's feet, allegedly, because I don't know if y'all heard that story, but Jasmine Masters told that story that Ginger Min got funky feet, them ham hocks, be rotted. But anyway, so then they said the police found a decomposed body placed inside of a bag in the front trunk of the Tesla, which was registered in Hempstead, Texas, to David. The car was impounded the previous week after being abandoned in the Hollywood Hills, where neighbors complained of a rotting smell. Now, early reports indicate that David was cooperating with the investigation because he probably thought that the body be rotted so much he wouldn't find out. But you don't realize how far tech has come, or the CSI ness of investigations have come, forensics, I should say. Um, The car was impounded the previous week after being abandoned in the Hollywood Hills, where neighbors complained of a rotting smell. They also said he canceled the remaining dates of his U.S. tour after he was linked to the body's discovery. The body was soon identified as Rivas, who was reported as missing in 2024 when she was 13. In November, the LAPD confirmed that they were investigating a trip that David had taken to the Santa Barbara area sometime during the spring of 2025 following Hernandez's disappearance. And the medical examiner's office said that the LAPD had blocked the office from releasing details about the death. So I'm sure this is going to be ongoing. I'll definitely be following this story as it develops. I mean, I know story has been going on for a while, and I've been meaning to cover it, but what I wanted to do was I wanted to wait a little bit before, with all of this sort of kind of like how they were taking their time on the investigation. I wanted to wait until we got to the beginning, the middle, and somewhere towards the end, because the end ain't coming until he's charged and sentenced, and the trial happens and all that stuff. That's when we get the end. But and once they did they came up with the charges and what they're charging him on, then I was like, okay, now we have a full story that we can go on, because I don't like being on here like a lot of these other pundits where they want to go on every day, a little bit of crumb, a little bit of crumb, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and it's like y'all egging people on because you want that monetization. That'd be cute or whatever if I had the energy to sit and do all of that, but I don't live and die by the algorithm, so that's why I'm telling the story now. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding David being charged with unaliving a teenage girl that he was allegedly fornicating with? Whatever your thoughts are on this matter, let me know in the comments down below. I was like, I totally forgot. Well, I had to put back in y'all I had to put back y'all comments. I'm glad y'all can still. Can you hear me? Hear me? Y'all know that song. He said, I don't know how to explain it, but he looks like not Mufasa. More like Jaafar, yeah. Like I said, I only ever heard one song. I don't even know who the hell he was. When you said that you better than me, because you at least know one song. I ain't know nothing from about this child until this story came out. I only ever heard one song from him that was popular 3 years ago, and haven't heard from him since her body was found in his car. Top Gun is a what? About to come to theaters for the 40th anniversary. And look, we're getting a third one too. I do love Top Gun. I like Top Gun 2 also, even though it took them 30 years to make it. And Top Gun 3 is definitely in the works. They made that announcement at CinemaCon last week. So I guess shout out to Tom Cruise. I heard that new movie Digger that he's in is was getting rave reviews as well. How did he get away with it for this long? The cops would have. Yeah, that's why I don't understand. Hello, I'm glad you said it, because this is a Hispanic girl. So it took people smelling something funky coming from a situation for y'all to all of a sudden want to look into a disappearance or a possible murder. I'm wondering, like, did her parents ever put out any? Did they ever contact? Because I don't know the full story. All I know is that they were investigating. He was attached to it and all this other stuff. So I only knew a little bit. But I was just like, did the parents ever put out an APB on their child? Did they ever go down to the precinct and put in a missing persons report because their daughter ran away? or was she in a bad situation where she had fucked up parents who didn't care? Because there's a lot of them out here. Some of y'all should not be allowed to procreate because a lot of y'all don't really care about y'all kids. Quiet as it's kept. I mean, I'm sure. Did y'all hear that story that came out the other day where a guy went and murdered 7 of his kids? It was 8 of them, but 7 of them was his. One was a cousin, and then I think the baby mother was her, and it was another person. But he went and killed all his kids, black man, which making black people look bad because normally they like to associate white folks with doing this type of mess. And I think he went out by the police having to kill him or something or another. I'm fuzzy on the details of how he went out, but I did hear the story about him with the like taking out killing all his children. Like, what the fuck? That's why I said, if y'all don't want to have kids, stop having kids. Because I mean, if you can't deal with them, I watched the director's cut of the one that got. Well, I'm glad you watched it. How was it? When I tell you that added nothing to the original story, probably because Katy Perry is literally trying to hoodwink y'all and milk y'all for all y'all are worth because she's in the news and she's popular, and this is going to distract from the accusations from Ruby Rose. So now she's going to sit up out here and I'm going to give you a video that has not. That I'm like, okay, this is what you're giving us. That girl is so damn. She about as deep as a pond. That's why I just don't see like the thing about Katy Perry. When Katy Perry does things, it always borders on cringe. I feel like more than one person was involved. I think I would not be surprised because wasn't there someone else that they were looking into as well, and not just him, the singer? I could have sworn there was more than one person they were looking at. I guess Stevie Nicks pulled the narration out at the last minute because she doesn't want to be a child. Okay. I don't even think it's alleged at this point because people pulling up old receipts of Katy Perry being problematic. So sad and effed up how he continued to live his life after he did that. He makes alternative music. His lyrics and his imagery have always alluded to violence and romance. And it's funny, like that's why you got to really watch these people with the art they create. Who knew about him and this girl? Was she reported missing? Is the guy legal in this country? Is he one of No, he is. I don't think he's related to Kimora and Jaimin Huns, who's, you know, I don't think that's. And I don't think. And then I'm wondering because when you said Jaimin, Kimora and Jaimin Chow, and he's still small, like 13 or 14. Like I don't think he's like old enough where he messing with an underage girl. That's what I want to know. Was she reported missing? Like, and the fact that she running off with some grown man. Because these girls rapper like me. I want to impress him. And then, they running over these damn men. And he should know better because you was literally grooming that child. Oh, so I was right. You said the cops took him out because the wife wanted a divorce. He took them all out. That's the crazy part about being in these DV type relationships is that when you want a divorce or when you don't want to be in a relationship with somebody abusive. There was another video I saw the other day too. This man went and proposed to his girlfriend, and when she turned him down, he punched her in the face. And I'm sitting there like, you basically did her a solid because why would I marry you and you're gonna whoop my ass before we even walk down the aisle? Make that make sense. So if this is how you acted, I'm glad they caught him out, and I'm mad because they cut it after he punched her. I'm like, so did them people in that area because it looked like it was in a diner. I'm like, or a restaurant, whatever. So I'm like, now after he did that, I hope y'all fucked him up because ain't no way in hell I'm gonna just sit idly by and let a man just hit on some chick. And then I'm gonna just be like, oh, and then, like everybody else do these days. Y'all hide behind this shit instead of getting involved. Me, I'll be ready to fight. Because I'm like, I'll be damned if you let somebody put paws on somebody when they stand, like just over, like because somebody told you no. What are you, a graper? Oh, yeah, I saw that one already. He said, I had a thought about Guthrie's missing mama. Did she check funeral homes and that do cremations? It's the quickest way to disappear. But, Chad, I believe that this administration has something to do with her disappearance because it was just like there was some people that were looking into something with Trump and they all ended up dead. I'm telling you, these people out here are wicked. Um, And they were saying like, how it's suspicious that this was after Savannah did an interview about the Epstein situation, and then her mother goes missing. Now, if y'all don't do the math on that, of course I saw it. Have I seen the movie The Housemaid? Yes, I saw it in the movies. I think it was like when it was on its legs, on its way out of the theater. It was me and like three other girls in the theater, so I was only the only male in there, which I didn't mind. But you stupid. She's not an astronaut. Um, but yeah, I saw The Housemaid. I was like, let me go because it was like, and I think it was around the time when it was like nothing really in the movie. So I was like, let me finally get around to watching it because everybody's about how good it is. And I had a good time with it. I liked it. Sydney Sweeney was good in it. I think you could rent it at home or buy it if you want. I think it's on Stars now too. If anybody, I don't even know anybody that has Stars except probably my parents because they still walk around with cable. But who watches? There ain't shit on Stars. He said Nakamura. Katie has another. Lord, Legendary Lovers from Prism. To be fair, the viral audio is remixed with a Chief Keef song that's far better than any. Remember when she was trying to jump on the bandwagon with rappers? Celeste was like 11, 12 when they met online. Child, he was up. He was probably up in there grooming her. Oh, okay. So her parents did report her missing. Didn't see that. You know, I be watching all kinds of crazy videos when I be scrolling online. The housemaid's like every. Well, I was about to say, yeah, the Lifetime. The housemaid definitely gave Lifetime movie of the week tease, but with a bigger budget. That's basically what it was. But I was thoroughly entertained, and those are the movies that Sydney needs to do more of. And I'm sure she probably will be. Because there was some movie I heard that she's about to star in. I think it's like a horror film that she's about to start. And another thing I will give Sydney, she does good with horror as well. Like a lot of the movies that she stars in, she produces, they're really good. Like Immaculate, I actually liked her in that film. So politics aside, some of the movie choices she picks is really good. Now, when she tried to act like she could really act by trying to play a lesbian boxer who got her ass beat by her husband when she's not in the ring, nobody's gonna buy that one. But anyway, let's move on. And let's talk about Coachella having a fit, having well, they were I just realized I have I have one of my videos and stuff open, but now that it's closed, let's get back into the show. All right, so we got to talk about Coachella because they ended up getting fined for going over or going past the curfew. So Justin Bieber performed his final set, of boring ass music and went over and got fines. And also Madonna's favorite DJ of the moment, Anyma, Anemic. I don't even know how the fuck you say his name because I've never heard anybody say it out loud. But Anyma, he wound up getting fined as well, I guess, because he went over. Remember, the week before, he didn't get to do his set. I think he wound up guesting on someone else's set, but when he was scheduled to do his set, he couldn't do it the first weekend because there was the situation of the desert and the winds and all this stuff, which I've been noticing a lot of people have been complaining about. Like I went on a deep dive about Coachella and stuff online, and I did see that there was a lot of people that were literally complaining about how the dust and the winds and waiting on long lines to take a shower and how expensive the food and everything was and spending $100 to charge their phone. It was just a whole mess. And now it's just like, but mind you, they got influencers out here who's getting paid to be flown out to stay in these posh hotels or whatever, so that way they can make Coachella look amazing and you're having this FOMO moment. But people are doing these buy now, pay later deals to be able, and then which means y'all gonna be in debt for the rest of your life trying to pay off them damn expensive ass tickets and everything else that y'all charge to y'all cards. So y'all wanted to go, and that's why I will always choose Coachella over Coachella. So getting into this story, Justin Bieber, because I don't know, no shade, that live performance was boring. Golden Voice, the promoter of the Coachella Valley Music and Arts Festival, is facing more than 40 grand in fines after running over time on weekend two of the Desert Festival. A representative of the city of Indio, that'd be California, has confirmed with Billboard. Now, the festival was charged for going past the 1 a.m. curfew set by the city, where the festival has been held since 1999. Doom, down, 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 doom, 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 doom. Okay, let me start with the Prince. Now, while the first weekend of the festival obeyed the curfew, weekend two went over on 2 days, as first reported by TMZ. Now, on Friday night, April 17th, Anyma's midnight set went on until 1:09 a.m., which cost the festival 24 grand in fines. And then on Saturday, April 18th, Justin Bieber's headlining performance went over by 2 minutes, costing an additional 20,000. Oh, that's a gag. Y'all don't know that at the Garden, allegedly, we charge, if you go over the curfew, 20 grand a minute. So if you don't have the coins, I mean, if you go over your curfew, be expected to pay big time when it comes to the curfew situation. So Coachella has a long running agreement with Indio City officials that the festival end at 1 a.m. each Friday and Saturday night and at 12 a.m. on Sundays, according to the agreement. Coachella is fined 20 grand for the first 5 minutes. It exceeds the curfew limit with additional fines beyond that. Now, this isn't the first time Coachella has been hit with curfew fines. Way back in 2009, Golden Voice paid 54 grand after singer Paul McCartney went a whopping 54 minutes over his allotted time. But y'all couldn't drag his ass off the stage. But I guess when you're not paying for it, they don't care. Last year, the festival was fined 20 grand when Travis Scott went 3 minutes past curfew on weekend one, while in 2024, a performance by Lana Del Rey cost them 17 grand. In 2023, Golden Voice racked up more than 168,000 in fines after six performers, such as Bad Bunny, not even Frank Ocean, that tight ass performance. Bad Bunny, Frank Ocean, The Weeknd, Skrillex, Fred Again, and Fortet blew past their curfew times. Now, yesterday, Coachella closed out 2 weekends and headline performance from Sabrina Carpenter, Bieber, and Carol G, who just announced she's going on tour, and that's Carol G. She's doing like a stadium tour. Polo Grounds will transform this week into Golden Voices Country Music Festival Stagecoach, which runs from April 24th to the 26th, with headliners Cody Johnson, Lainey Wilson, and Post Malone. Funny enough, I didn't even know they was doing other festivals besides Coachella, but I guess you can't only just survive on Coachella alone. You got to be able to do other things as well. So now they got their little country music fest, and I'm sure that's one festival Kid Rock funky ass won't be performing at. But yeah, this is what happens when it's just like, yeah, when y'all go over that curfew, it's like be expected to pay out of pocket, but it's not necessarily the artist has to pay it. It's the sponsors and everybody who's in charge of the festival that has to pay for it. Now, if it was just the Bieber himself that was over here touring and he went over, oh yeah, he'd have to definitely pay that out of pocket. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding the fines that Coachella had to deal with? Well, look, it's the little small price I had to pay, especially when y'all overcharging everybody with everything that was there. It was like literally trying to squeeze every piece of juice out of the lemon and taking advantage of the people that's there. But because y'all be in that FOMO mode and y'all want to go viral and you want to have your little moments and social media and all that other stuff, because y'all are addicted to that you get that dopamine drip and all that other stuff with fear of missing out at Coachella. I'm like, I didn't miss out on Coachella. I sat my ass at home when I was able to and catch up on some of the performances that I wasn't able to see. I watched the rerun when I could catch it. And Sunday I was off, so I was able to catch up on some of the performances that I needed to catch up on. So the ones I missed week one, I was able to catch up on week two. I was able to catch Slater twice. I was able to catch who else? I was able to catch Nine Inch Noise on Saturday because I missed their concert last week. Was able to catch FKA Twigs after catching the last two performances of the first week at the last minute because I was watching something else. Was catching up on a lot of DJ sets. I got to see Fat Boy Slim. Got to see. I think did Moby perform too? I'm not sure. Mochak. There was a lot of great DJs I got to catch. That was awesome. So yeah, I was able to finally catch up on a lot of the shows that I missed the first time. Which in a way I guess is pretty good that they do repeats. And what I've heard is the best time to go to Coachella is week two because week one you get all the little fake and phonies, the ones that I did say I saw Slater twice, right? And I got to see Cobra and a couple of others. So one of the things I realized, they always said the best time to go if you're a fan and you want to be about the vibe and have a good time and really get into music is week 2. Because week 1, you get all the fake and phonies who's like, oh yeah, I gotta be there and I have to go viral and I have to put all that stuff up there. And then once them asses is going, the second week is like for the people that really enjoy and want to be there for the music and the vibes and all that stuff. But Coachella, y'all got to do better with how y'all be treating a lot of the people that go to these events and stop price gouging on everything, from the food to the charging stations to the lack of washing your ass to. But look, I don't like going nowhere. I lived in California, so I'm well aware of them high ass winds and the sand and the dust and all that. With my allergies, oh hell no, that would not work for me. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Sydney Sweeney cameo in The Devil Wears Prada 2 was cut out. Oh, yeah. I know we have that as a story. It's a poor Justin. I don't. Mm, he needs some peace. But I hate outside concerts. It's musty, it stinks, and there's no cooling system. Yeah, I don't like I think as the older I get, I've never been one of the now don't get me wrong, when I was younger, I used to do festivals. I did Ozfest, I did a lot of the festivals back 20 some odd years ago. And funny enough, Ozfest was created because if I'm not mistaken, Ozzy Osbourne, they would not hire him to do Lollapalooza. Sharon was trying to get him to do Lollapalooza. They wouldn't let him. So she was like, fuck y'all, I'm gonna start a festival. And then she will put like a lot of the metal bands like System of a Down and Korn and all these other bands, which I thought was a great idea. And I had a great time when I did Ozfest. I'm trying to remember where it was. It might have been at the what is now the MetLife Stadium, if I'm not mistaken. But I had a good time when I went 20 some odd years ago. If that, because that was at the height of the Osborne TV series. And that was like when you're young and you don't give a damn and you have and it's whatever. But now it's like the whole festival circuit. I don't like being out in the sun all day. I don't like the dirt. I don't like none of that. So you will not catch me at Coachella. That's why I said what you will see me at is I will do Coachella over Coachella, as did I. And also, they finally dropped the trailer for Evil Dead Burn. So if y'all want to see that, you can go on YouTube and check that out. But I saw it on Twitter. Somebody actually recorded it at CinemaCon and uploaded it, and that's how I was able to see it. And so they put that trailer out. They also said the Clayface trailer should be coming out this week. So I hope that happens because I want to see that. I've never seen Practical Magic. And funny enough, a lot of the people that were talking about Practical Magic too, they were like, I've never seen the first one. Because I don't know. I just feel like that's a demographic thing for me to want to watch. But now, because the second one is coming out, I think I kind of want to watch it. Just so that way I can see what it's about or whatever. But anyway. All right, y'all. So now let's go from Couchella to Stolechella, because apparently we talked a little bit about it yesterday. Madonna's vintage outfit from the COADF era had ended up being stolen. That's what she posted on her Instagram stories. She said that it was stolen. She put out a reward. I did find it a little sketch. That's why I said maybe y'all need to DM her that there was a email for like it said Maverick, whatever the case, and I'm like, that sounds like a bullshit ass email. But so I don't think y'all should just send it to that email because I mean that email address or whatever, because I don't know if you should trust it. But if somebody comes across it, they should definitely DM Madonna or Gaio Siri, her manager, and let them know what happened. But according to TMZ, they do not believe that someone flat out went and stole Madonna's outfit. They think that it might have been it might have been a mistake on the behalf of her staff. So, in the words of Beyonce, somebody's getting fired because it's on y'all, according to TMZ. So, let's get into the story. So, the police investigating Madonna's stolen clothes don't believe the pop star was targeted. Now, a rep for the Indio Police Department tells TMZ, I wonder if they had cameras around where they could see what's going on. On Saturday, April 18, 2026, at approximately 7:32 p.m., a missing property report was filed by Madonna's rep. The police said the reported missing items included clothing and jewelry, which were last seen on a golf cart at the Empire Polo Grounds on Saturday, April 18, 2026, shortly after 1:30 a.m. during weekend 2 of the Coachella Valley Music and Arts Festival. The police said a prelim investigation indicates the two bags containing the items may have fallen off a golf cart operated by staff who were on their way to load the bags onto a bus. Upon arriving at the hotel shortly thereafter, the staff realized the bags were missing. Because you know Madonna was to stand on that dusty ass property. She was going to a hotel. Now, the spokesperson said there's no evidence to suggest the bags were intentionally stolen. Now, the Indio Police Department is asking anyone who may have located the bags to please turn them in immediately or call the department. And don't send it to that email that I gave y'all. Just turn them in or go down to the precinct and let them know, the situation. I'm sure that they left a number for them to contact Donta when the bag comes up. Now, as previously reported, TMZ previously reported, sources told TMZ that Madonna, how many times I gotta advertise TMZ and some shit? We know it, y'all. TMZ that Madonna filed a police report over the missing items. The legendary pop star who performed with Sabrina Carpenter at weekend 2 of Coachella said the pieces were vintage and meant a lot to her. She said aren't just clothes, they're part of my history. Now, she said, I'm hoping and praying that some kind soul will find these items and reach out to my team. That she wrote that she offered a reward for the return of the items. And look, if y'all do return it, what will happen, I believe, is that look, you'll be able to pay back all the hefty ass bills that you had from dealing with the amount of money that y'all had to pay to get to Coachella and all the other extra amenities that came with it. So look, if y'all find it, the bet is you're better off returning it and getting a hefty reward. Girl, don't sit there and the reward be a damn autograph because then I'll be tight. It's like, no, I need no shade. I need financial compensation because if you happen to come across a bag, like, oh, I wonder who bag this is. I'll pick it up. You put it with your stuff. And so, yeah, this is the fault of her people because it's like, look, if y'all gonna be driving crazy or erratically or whatever the case is with with people's stuff in a golf cart, and you probably swerving or I don't know how you driving, but how it falls off. Like I would think that if you're putting a bunch of bags onto a golf cart to transport it to a vehicle to then take it to the hotel where the artist is going to be staying at, that you would take a lot better care of the bags and the items and make sure they don't fall out. I've just been noticing a lot of when it comes to a lot of these A-list artists, their team is being real reckless with their shit. We had Beyonce when she was dealing with that during the Cowboy Carter era. I think she was on the second to the last show for the Cowboy Carter tour, and her all of the stuff that was the deal with the tour and the music, and I think unreleased tracks that she was working on ended up being stolen. I mean, they found the person that allegedly, well, is it alleged or is it actually really him? But they found the guy that stole the items. Now he's in jail. He's been going. I think they've been dealing with his case and him being on trial and stuff. And now we have the whole Madonna situation. So, girl, I know I'd have been like, okay, so whoever was in charge of the clothes or whatever, you're about to be unemployed because you need to be responsible. If I hire you to be responsible instead of reckless with and I understand people make mistakes, but when it's something that's expensive and also a part of my history, and Madonna is doing callbacks to a lot of previous things that she did in the past, but modernizing what she did back then. So it's like, yeah, I'm reheating my nachos, but I add a little jalapenos up in the nachos to give it a little more spice. So that's what she's been doing. It seems like that's what she's doing with this upcoming album, which I'm looking forward to. But yeah, so hopefully they find it. Hopefully that this is not going to be something that this just going to be a memory. I mean, I get that, it's stuff, but sometimes when things have sentimental value and it's just expensive, you don't want to be like, well, it's material, girl. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Kanta and TMZ's theory that they don't think that, yeah, somebody just went and snuck on in a room or wherever the case, because that's the way I thought about it. That somebody went into her room and stole her stuff. And when she wasn't looking, grab the bag and run on out. Nobody was doing that. It's just a mistake on her staff's part. So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. It's like no one has anything to say about Madonna. I'm shocked, then. Well, anyway, let's move on to our next topic then. And let's talk about Michael Jackson, that is. So tomorrow, wait, no. In a couple of days, because today's Tuesday, usually around Thursday night, going into Friday, the movies start to hit the theaters. So already the embargo has been lifted on the new Michael Jackson movie. The family was there on the red carpet, I believe, yesterday. It's funny, on the East Coast, we have the Devil Wears Prada red carpet. On the West Coast, on the West Coast, I believe they had the Michael um red carpet premiere with all the celebrities and stuff that was there, because we saw a lot of the family. We saw Detective LaToya, we saw Prince, we didn't see Blanket, we didn't see Paris, because I don't think Paris was anything to do with this damn movie. Um, and we seen some of the brothers, and we seen, I don't know why Usher wanna be Michael Jackson ass was there, but he was there. Missy Elliott apparently showed the film to Candy Burris and her family, because Candy went on social media with some of that Missy treated them to the film. It was a 10 out of 10. So, of course, the hardcore Michael Jackson fans are going to love it. I've been hearing a lot of the reviews on the film. A lot of people saying it's not a good movie. And they're saying what it is that Jaafar is good as Michael Jackson. He embodies a lot of the Michael isms and things of that nature in the film. Everybody's saying Coma Domingo eats down as Joe Jackson. They also said, and there was some good things said about Nia Long as well, playing Catherine. But I think a lot of people were saying they wanted to see more of the dynamic between Joe and Catherine. Maybe I guess the only way we'll see that, we got to go back and watch that old VH1 film with who was it that played Michael's father? Was it Tina Knowles' ex? Was that who played Michael Jackson daddy, Joe Jackson? And then what was her name? Angela Bassett. So do we have to go back to that version in order to get some of the nuances of and the complexities of the whole Jackson family and what they went through and all that stuff? There was a lot of people saying that it feels like a long 2 hour music video, which I literally got that watching the trailer. When I was listening to some of the reviews, I'm like, I could definitely see that. It definitely gave 2 hour music video. And they say they play it too safe. They don't really go take a deep dive into Michael's stuff. And they do say that maybe that's what they were going to do, because remember when we talked about on the show before, the film was supposed to open with the police lights on in the background, and they were coming to search his house because of the allegations from one of the kids that he had touched them inappropriately. And so then the third act was supposed to be about Jordan Chandler, the trial, and all other stuff. Then they realized that the lawyer made a damn mistake and didn't look into the fact that um they weren't supposed to cover that. So they had to cut that whole scene. I feel bad for the actors who all participated in it. You're not going to get your moment, but they cut that part out. And so they say it basically ends with Michael, I think it's like the last 30 minutes is like a performance, or pretty much like I guess the same vibe that we got from Bohemian Rhapsody, another movie I hated, and then someone who actually worked on that film worked on this one. So I already know how I'm gonna feel about the movie. I'm gonna be disappointed. I'm probably you'll be there for the nostalgia. You'll like the fact that you're seeing all of this on stage. You're getting to watch the behind the scenes of, oh yeah, they're putting the Thriller video and all this other stuff. And I'm like, that's cool or whatever, but I could just go on YouTube and watch old Michael videos if I need to do that. I don't need to see reenactments of someone who is related to Michael doing a reenactment of the situation. That to me is not entertaining. But I'm gonna sit and watch the movie anyway, because I told you I got A-list. It pays for the ticket, so I'll probably go this weekend and watch it. And I'm gonna probably be all up in my feelings about, you know what? I like seeing all the costumes and the performances and listening to the music, and all that's great. But I feel like for me, I want more. I want a little more depth. I don't want just surface level stuff. And the problem with a lot of these biopics, which has been turning me off, and I think my overall reason why I don't like biopics is because they're all surface level. It's this, okay, so we like the artist, but what motivated them to want to be the star that they are? We get that Joe Jackson didn't want to get out of poverty. He didn't want to be a blue collar worker no damn more. So his kids had talent and decided to milk him for all it's worth, meaning that y'all gonna be our ticket out of this poverty. And yes, for a while it worked. And then how Joe treated Michael. I'm saying that from what people are saying, I'm sure I'm gonna want more than that, because I'm like, I don't want surface level shit, but I'm gonna give my overall opinion on the film after I see it. But this is what the overall complaints of the film now. So I'm sure like the hardcore fans will eat it up. But for the most part, I probably will feel like a lot of these damn critics. But anyway, speaking of which, so There's two things regarding the story. One, LaToya Jackson was on the red carpet and she spoke to Mark Malkin, because he gets around, on why Janet Jackson didn't want. Well, she basically praised her nephew Jaafar. What else is she going to say? And she also opened up about why Janet Jackson, excuse me, is not in the movie. So we're gonna play that clip, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna talk. Please hold.
Perfect. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
So, what did you think when they came to you and said, we want to do a biopic about Michael?
I said, this is wonderful. Just make sure it's true to life. And it was good. And it was great. And it is.
How much fun was it being on set and seeing Jaafar?
Oh my gosh. I have to tell you that Jaafar was absolutely fabulous. I'm sure you've seen the movie and you know how wonderful he is, how we all forget and think that we're watching Mike. And it's like, oh, I forgot this is Jaafar. So he really delivered and he did a fabulous job.
And obviously the movie had some bumps and bruises along the way. Were you ever nervous that it might not be released?
No, I wasn't. I knew within time it would be. It's sometimes
He always says that
it takes time, and yes, of course, here we are.
Have you started consulting on the sequel or the third movie?
I'm not sure if there's going to be a sequel. That's up to the producers. I hear there might be. We don't know. So, no, I haven't been contacted yet. So,
Did you miss not having Janet in the movie?
I wish everybody was in the movie. So,
did you try to convince her and say, let's do it?
Well, she was asked and she kindly declined. So you have to respect her wishes.
Well, that's it on that part. And it's like, yeah, Jana's like, I got way bigger things to be worrying about this tight ass movie. That's probably what she said. But she ain't, but she said it like that, so I won't be part of that shit. But anyway, okay, let's give it whatever. So, but funny enough, he was sitting there saying that there should be a second or third. I'm like, damn, can we get through the first one? Nobody said anything about a third movie. Although I did hear that at the end they kind of do some Avengers type shit, which is like they leave it open. Like I guess it's somewhere that Michael will be back in a second film, something or another in that way. So they kind of played a very Avengers style where there could be a sequel, because I've heard that there is extra footage that they have put to the side that they want to work around the possibility of making a second one. And I'm sure this movie will do enough financially where a second will be greenlit. But if they do, I really hope that, because y'all play it safe, y'all don't really go, from what I heard, deep diving into a lot of who Michael was and all this other stuff. But if we're going to do on the other side and we're going to go into the 90s and all other stuff, I definitely think that y'all really need to go there with a lot of the stuff. So if y'all going to sit here and talk about be true to life, we want y'all to be true to life, warts and all. Let's not be all Sesame Street and Disney with putting this story together, or I should say whitewashing, because that's exactly what y'all did with Bohemian Rhapsody. You completely just purified who Freddie Mercury was. You didn't even, I don't even think y'all really truly dove into him being a gay rock star and all this other stuff. Y'all played it up like he was into this woman, and y'all spent more time heterosexualizing him than really getting into the gayness. There's one scene where you see him going into a tea room or whatever the case was. I'm not saying you got to show him sucking dick in bathrooms or whatever he was doing, or sex part. I'm not saying you had to do that in order to show the gay side. But if you're gonna do a deep dive into someone, especially like a Freddie Mercury, what you should have did was, what is it like being an A-list mainstream rock star, and the juxtaposition of having to hide your queerness. You can be flamboyant over stuff, but you can't address the gayness. And that struggle that comes with that, being a mainstream star and people telling you can't be gay in this and you can't be a superstar and a homosexual. Same thing, like, and the overall, and they also said something that, like, where was the overall deep dive into Michael where he had the struggles of getting his music on MTV due to racism? Because we're not going to sit up here and act like MTV weren't full of fucking racists, where y'all wasn't even allowing Black people to have their music on your channel. It had to get to a point where David Bowie had to sit in the interview and call out MTV for their lack of Black talent on the channel, for them to all of a sudden have an epiphany and allow Black people to cross over into that whole situation. So I think like we're going to be having these things, we really need to go there and tell these stories and not sit them and try to act like, well, yeah, Michael Jackson was just somebody who father tortured him and he had to get out of that whole situation. He just moonwalked all day. Like, you ain't got much of a movie there. But then we're gonna cover up all the deep dive stuff by just giving y'all, let's do a full thing of Beat It, Thriller. Let's do full music videos and distract y'all from the fact that this is a weak ass script. So now, speaking of which, since we're getting into the whole Jaafar situation, and then on Janet Jackson, I'm like, yeah, if she don't want to be a part of it, she don't have to. She's got other things going on. Now, I would love to see Janet in her own biopic. Now that's a movie I would love to see. It'll probably be a little more edgier than what we're getting with Michael. Now, speaking of Michael, let's talk about Jaafar, who's playing him. So he was also at the premiere, clearly, and he revealed what one of the biggest misconceptions about his uncle. So let's get into that one. And hold on, I got to make sure that it's on it. Oh wait, it's not. I have to hold on. I gotta pull that video up. Oh, this is annoying when it don't allow you to switch over. Okay. So I have that video. We're gonna come back. I forgot to rewind it. Hold on. He was on Extra. Is that Derek Huff? Yes, it is. He's all right. Mr. Huff in a puff. Huffs in a puff. Huffs in a puff. Wait, let me close Detective LaToya. Okay, so we're gonna watch this clip and then we're gonna come back and talk again. Please hold.
I think the biggest misconception of your uncle is?
The biggest misconception, that I would say that he wanted to be white. That's a big misconception, and that this film gives you that understanding of what that is. You know, what that vitiligo played a part in his life, and not a lot of people really understand what that is.
Yes.
And he was dealing with that from an early age.
Dude, well, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, I heard they address it in passing and then they move on from it because, yeah, if you're going to address the whole vitiligo thing, now, do I believe him? I'm gonna call bullshit on it. You know, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to sit up here and try to act like I don't acknowledge people with vitiligo. I mean, we got Winnie Harlow out here, who's had a successful modeling career with vitiligo, and we see a lot of people out here who have the situation. But my thing is, if we're going to talk about the vitiligo, do we also address the extensive plastic surgery? Do we address, like, you know, all the things that was going on with that? Like, I'm wondering if a lot of that stemmed from taking a deep dive into his father, probably, you know, talking about his big nose and probably being called unattractive, which Michael was not an ugly person, but when you have people that say real nasty negative things to you, that gets into your psyche and it's something you can't shake. So you think that when you have all this money and you're bored, that you can just go under the knife and I don't like my big black nose, so now I'm gonna have it out here looking like this, and we're to the point I can't breathe through it no damn more. And then it looks all crazy because them Jackson noses now, y'all definitely look like somebody took a hammer and just smashed the shit out of it. That's what a lot of y'all out here looking. And then the whole lightening your skin. I understand that maybe you need a makeup or whatever to even it out because you want to be out here looking like a cow. But I hope y'all address it. But from what I've heard from the reviews, it is something that is mentioned in passing. There's not something they really dive into and give that whole situation. They don't even give the script a chance to breathe. So it's like when y'all really want to take these moments of really getting into the man behind the persona, they don't really explore that. That's been one of the main complaints about this upcoming movie. So, as I said before, I am definitely going to check this movie out when it comes out. I'm a little skeptical because, you know, y'all already know how I feel about biopics. I always feel like they be on some bullshit when it comes to really deep diving into these stars. And if you're going to make movies based on people, I really feel like that y'all should get into the good, the bad, and the ugly side. But you're probably not willing to go there because if you really dive deep into and not have the biases, because you got a lot of the Jackson family participating in being executive producers, which quiet as kept, I think is those all vanity situations. I don't think they were as involved, except that they had to come up with $15 million for the reshoots. That probably gives you a whole thing of, yeah, you get the producer credit. But were y'all really over there being a consultant and really going in and putting dotting the I's across the T's on the script and really like let's get into who Michael was. That's why I told you I don't particularly like biopics because I don't feel like y'all really get to the meat and potatoes of who these people are. But I guess some people are like, well, then you should watch a documentary. Well, then they shouldn't make a movie about a celebrity if you're really not going to explore the good, the bad, and the ugly side of them. If this is going to be a vanity project because you don't want because you want to have license to the music, then is it a real movie? Then is it a real pic of a bio picture that you want people to check out, or this is some vanity project that the fans just go, oh my God, we get to see Michael on our screens, and we get to hear Beat It. And it takes me back to a time of nostalgia when I was a little kid and I heard this song for the first time and it had me in my feeling. Like, okay, if it's all about feelings and vibes and shit, then okay. But I guess I'm just not going to take the movie with a grain of salt. I'm going to just sit there and enjoy it and just see it as just a film rather than a movie that's truly exploring who this person really is. I say if you're not going to do that, don't make the fucking movie. But who am I, right? I might be a minority in this situation. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Michael Jackson and what LaToya said on why Janet is not in the film, and Jaafar saying one of the biggest misconceptions? Because I said, child, if that's all that the big misconception that he want to be a white man, and you think that's supposed to be enough because that's a trigger with black people already, with the fact that y'all don't like people in interracial relationships because you think they looking down on black folks whenever they get with white people because it's for proximity and access, or the fact that there's a lot of black people who with the self-hatred and because we're in this big divide with racism and the current regime and all this other mess. If you think that's the only thing that about Michael Jackson that is a big misconception, and you really have been living in a bubble. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Oh, damn, we got a lot of comments. Wait, I went way too far. Hold on. I only want to watch the film and they say he's good in the film. Nuh-uh. No, we're not. Wade Robson and James Safechuck is not in this movie. I mean, if you want to see them, there's 2 documentaries with them in it. And it seems the whole plot is to vilify Joe Jackson, which explains why Janet, not a character, as Janet and the girls didn't have the side of Joseph. So it's basically what Michael would want. Yeah, it definitely feels like they villainized the father. Okay, it was Lawrence Hilton Jacob. Thank you, because I couldn't remember who it was. It said, when did The Housemaid come out? The actor last year. When was it, like December? November, December. I think it was December. You said the acting was horrible, particularly the husband's performance. He is a D. I'm surprised Bieber um, has anything to say. Mm-mm. Ripped him a new one and what, his booty hole? Um, I think Brandon Sklenar was bad in the film. First of all, that man got body. And seeing that nude scene, I was like, oh, but I don't think that I don't think he was bad in the role. Brandon Sklenar, as who I'm talking about. Biopics are about legacy. And of course, these teams want the artist's legacy to be squeaky clean. They don't want the people that don't know the controversy to know. Well, child, all we got to do is Google Schmoogle. It's all out there. So let this be the last time anyone asks. This be the last time anyone asks LaToya a question. You said surprised that she's speaking to Variety with the whole leaving Netherland dot because they child. Well, maybe she forgot, or she just so happy somebody stuck a microphone in her face. They said maybe Janet wants her own biopic down the road. Well, I mean, I think a lot of the fans will want that. Child, we probably get the biopic before we get Black Diamond. Maybe Janet wants. Oh, I read that already. Well, you posted it twice. He said, I hope I won't be like Blonde, where 80% of the film was non-factual. Heard that movie was terrible. Ana de Armas was in that, right? he was bisexual, but they focus more on the bi part than the sex. Well, they focus more on his being with a woman than it was with a man. Because I'm like, we're gonna explore the sides. Let's explore the sides. But y'all wanted, I got what that was. Y'all wanted to be able to play in a lot of countries that are not as homophobic or are heavily homophobic, I would say. So we couldn't dive too much into the gay stuff. Because we want to make $1 billion at the box office, which the movie ended up doing. I also heard that Taron Egerton was good, and was it him that played Elton John? They were like that. Jaafar is good, but he's not as good as Taron Egerton as Elton John. And then there was another character who they said, Austin Butler as Elvis, which he actually was good as. I still don't understand to this day who thought that it was a good idea to make Jeremy Allen White play Bruce Springsteen. I don't know who thought that was a good idea, because it literally looked like Jeremy Allen White playing a musician that wasn't Bruce Springsteen, but he just looked like Jeremy Allen White. I would say it looked like Billy Wilder up there playing Bruce Springsteen, because that's what he looked like. The only one everybody liked was Rocket Man, because Elton said life isn't PG-13. All life is rated R, etc. This PG-13 is so money can be made by including kids. That's what made the television edit. Hmm. You said looking at 33% on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm glad. Damn, I'm glad I don't go on Rotten Tomatoes. But you said 33%. I'm glad Janet isn't in it. Any biopic that shovels around the mess is doomed to be propaganda for 2 hours straight. Good luck trying to build that. Not the JCU. You said Lionsgate COO said it was going to release a sequel. We don't want it. You said in 2028, director Antoine Fuqua might be nominated for Best Director at next year's Oscars. Well, congratulations to him if he gets it. But I'm just like, if it's not going to give me a little more depth, like a Sinners or whatever, I don't want it. I wouldn't be surprised if other celebrities had stuff stolen from them too. Oh, at Coachella, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised either. But they said, look, it had to do with her staff being incompetent. That it was nobody deliberately went and stole it. It probably just fell off the cart. Wasn't Britney supposed to? I think she's still supposed to have one. I don't know what's going on with that biopic. I think it was John M. Chu who directed Wicked, and that horrible Wicked for Good. He's supposed to be directing it, and I don't know what's going on with it. I don't know if it's her that's delaying the project, but at this point, they should have been really deep into trying to develop the film, a script, something. I mean, you got the whole book. Just start taking stuff from there. Well, maybe they'll get back on it once Britney is done with her getting sober. Kylie Jenner has been sued by a former housemaid for racial discrimination. Well, is she black? Because they love they're cultural vampires and religious discrimination. And look, I'm sorry, Lewis Hamilton, but the queen of the succubi that you with right now, she about to suck all your talent up out of you. You know which one, which dash in I'm talking about. You said racial discrimination and religious discrimination and lying to the media about her relationship with Timothy Chalamet, asking for $750 million. Oh, damn. In damages, as TMZ said, if the housekeeper wins, that Kylie Jenner is actually broke. Well, I don't think she's going to get $750 million, because that probably is all the money she has. She'll probably break her off a little something. But why would you sue somebody for them lying to the media about her relationship with Timothy Chalamet? That's none of their business. My father has vitiligo, and my grandmother on my mother's side has vitiligo. A nose job does not come with the okay. That's why I said so. I'm like, I'm not buying that shit. You said it's about that he want to be white. I'm like, so how do we explain everything else? The white leaning wigs that he wore, I get it, because the whole fire situation that happened on the Pepsi video shoot, that it burned his face or whatever the case was, and he had to go. There was a lot of pain that he was dealing with, which probably, I believe, caused him to get caught up in prescription drugs, which I'm wondering if they do explore that side. Probably not. And among other things, I heard that Bubbles is in the film. What about the hyperbolic chamber that he was laying up in? All the weird little things that he likes to do. Yeah, because LaToya. Yeah, because I was gonna say LaToya has never been that damn light. So they sit him there talking about vitiligo. I guess she got it too. And yeah, she is skinny. And that's why it was irritating me because people on my page tomorrow, oh, that's AI. Every goddamn thing is AI to y'all. No, the bitch is skinny. I'm not the one AI and preventing her from putting food in her mouth. She don't want to eat. So allegedly. So I don't know why people sitting up there and saying like, oh, that's not real. I'm like, Google is free. Look the pictures up. The bitch is skinny. And I call everybody a bitch. So that's how we talk over here. Um, it's a movie for the diehards. That's why I said I was like, and y'all could, and if I want to watch a Die Hard, I'd put on the original with Bruce Willis. So I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence if I'm actually gonna go see the movie this weekend, or if I should just wait for it to come out on at home because I'm probably just gonna be rolling my eyes with this goddamn movie. Because I'm like, and I'm not saying that I need to see him literally molesting children. I'm not saying that we need to go there with that. I want who was Michael? Who was the man behind the artistry? That's always been a fascination for me when it comes to pop stars or just musicians in general. Like as a music nerd, I've always been interested in who was the person behind the persona. What makes them want to create what they create? What made them want to become a superstar? Some people fall into it by accident because of circumstance, whatever the case is. Some people use it as music has always been an escape from the things that they had to deal with in life. There's always a reason why people do what they do and why they fight so hard to become the major superstar that they are today. That's why I hope Madonna. Now, if this movie gets off the ground and it happens, based off of the studio where you're doing a mockumentary of, a multiverse mockumentary of your biopic that is not gonna happen. If there's a way that you can get around that and a studio decides, you know what, let's revisit this because there's some traction to popularity. The Confessions 2 album is a success. The tour is a success, and all the good things that come with that. And now they're like, oh yeah, Madonna's still relevant because you know how people treat you. It's not always about what have you done over the years. It's always what have you done lately. And people get mad when I say this, but I'm like, no, this is how the industry is. I got into I got into it with somebody over that because they were sitting there like, oh, you're wrong. And I was like, no, I'm not. And now years later, now everybody's saying it because it's like, yeah, they don't give a fuck what your resume is. It's what have what have you done for me lately? Like that's how they feel. So then they remember that, with your latest album, that people still love you, that you're still relevant in some sort of way. So maybe they'll revisit it around that time. Because there's been a little gap in between the whole thing. And I guess they remember how, even though there's a lot of people that find Madam X critically acclaimed, the album was a chop. It didn't really do all that well. And there was a lot of issues with the tour behind that whole situation. So hopefully they'll revisit it. And I'm like, girl, if it happens, please don't water down your own damn story. The cinematography of the film looks cheap too, like an actual made-for-TV movie, just like the Whitney biopic. Oh yeah, child. Damn, I can't even talk. Quiet as it's kept. I never even watched the Whitney biopic. Didn't they do two? I haven't watched the Whitney biopic. I never saw the Aretha biopic with Screaming for Hudson. There's been quite a few shows that I have not watched, biopics. That's what I said. Michael Jackson wasn't ugly. But, you get people out there that are attractive and you hear people that will put things in your head. I think it even comes with like body dysmorphia. Like you can have the greatest body in the world and people will give you compliments on how good you look. But when you look in the mirror, you see yourself looking like, can you please her? And it's like, no, the body is smashed. You're not big. But in your head, you think you fat. When you go see the movie in theaters, make sure you hook the fans up with some popcorn. Shit. Man, I don't even eat popcorn when I go to the movies because I always worry about it getting stuck in my teeth. I mean, those y'all rocking a loose texture, dealing with white women and having white kids doesn't speak to proud blackness. But I don't know, child, quiet as it's kept. If we're gonna talk, we need to talk about the whole damn family. Because when the last time any of them fucked a black woman? and a man. I'll wait. Even Janet. Janet Kidd ain't black. I mean, I guess if we want to, y'all might get mad at me saying if you want to call her child a Sand Negro, then I'm like, okay, they're that kind of black. But people don't even look at people who are like from like an Arabic type of background or whose husband is Muslim. They don't even consider them black. So they all racially ambiguous. So we ain't gonna sit up here and try to talk about blackness and this, that, and the other when it's like something y'all don't want to acknowledge. But then you want to sit up there and weaponize that, talking about that Michael wanted to be white. Because I do agree with that. It's like you can't sit up here and have children that literally all of them don't look like they any kind of black is up in them, especially Prince in Paris. And I'm talking about Prince number one in Paris. Blanket look a little racially ambiguous. That's Prince number two. The other two look like they straight up Caucasian. So I saw the housemaid with my mom right before Christmas. That was sad. I think it came around December. My understanding, it wasn't to be white, but to erase all the features his father was a part of him. But I'm like, you also have made up your mother and your father. So you're going to erase Catherine too? Then again, I don't think Catherine had a big old nose. That was just Joe. Then that's the only thing you should have did was get the nose job, because that's the only thing that would have differentiated you from your father. The Jacksons had enough for the divorce. Oh well, Jenna did marry one. He said, "You made me drop my cheese sauce." Oh, sorry. He said to wait for the digital release and read one of the many books you have collecting dust for 2 hours instead. Oh, you said read one of the books I have. Oh yeah, because I told you I'll be buying books, but I don't be reading them. They basically just like bookmarks or posters. I feel like Madonna is probably the same behind closed doors. She's a chameleon, always shedding a different skin with each era. What if Madonna is like really boring behind the scenes? You said Angela Bassett did a Whitney Houston. Oh, did she? Then there was the one I Want to Dance with Somebody movie. Well, I remember that one. I know that I Want to Dance with Somebody movie. I didn't know about the other one. So you said Tina was a black family member. Didn't he pass? They had eternal self-hate. Did any of them marry or have children with black spouses? Well, wait a minute. Wasn't there two of the Jacksons married the same woman and had kids with them? Who was it? It was Jermaine? Because Jermaine ain't no good. And what is that hair system he got? I think it was Jermaine, and was it Marlon? Was it Tito? I know it was one of the two of the brothers had kids with the same woman. That's nasty. Cause now y'all cousin fuckers, cousin siblings. What about a Prince child? If they make a Prince biopic, well, he did. He can't defend himself. But the siblings should probably put that together. That would be a messy damn movie if that even happens. Little Kim was pretty before. Don't even get me started on Kim. And funny enough, she talked about that she hated the fact that we had the girl from 3LW that played her. I'm like, who's wrong with her? Y'all, I mean, why? Because she black? Girl, you black too. I didn't mind Notori playing Lil Kim in the Biggie biopic. She was mad about that. I'm like, who you wanted to play you? Um, Old girl Bonnie from the Vampire Diaries, who I heard plays Diana Ross in this movie. I was like, who you wanted to play you? I don't even know if her scenes made the cut. Well, I haven't seen the movie yet. This is a controversial question. Do you think Michael's kids should be allowed to? Hell no. And I don't even think they'd be smart. They'd be stupid to say it. Centipede was the only one that had the black. Oh, okay. So Riri the only one. You know, when the centipede is hot. Poor Kim, the abusive boyfriend of hers forced her to believe she was. That's another one. I'm glad you reminded me of that, because yeah, Lil Kim was dealing with some mess too, and they were talking about she was ugly. I'm like, first of all, no, his ass was probably ugly, because Lil Kim was not unattractive. That was a pretty girl back in the day. Now she Lil Kim Chi. So, I miss Lil Kim. And the other day I saw her at the Cardi concert. And she was at the Cardi concert when she came out. I'm like, who is that little? Who is the? I said they got the lollipop girl coming out on stage. It was Lil Kim. in that outfit that Cardi dressed her in. And she did the, her signature dance move. And Angela movie, Deborah Cox did it. Well, yeah, Deborah Cox definitely gives Whitney when she sings. I live for Deborah Cox, especially when she went homosexual with her music. When she had all them DJs, the Thunder Puss and all of them that did Easy as Life and all of that. When she went dance in the dance music era, I was like, yes, that's what we love about some Deborah Cox. That differentiated her from Whitney. Then Whitney did the remixes and all that stuff with her record, with the My Love Is Your Love and It's Not Right, but It's Okay, and did all them dance remixes. She was like, I can do that too. You think David Banner's a weirdo? He gives me very much Lenny Kravitz vibes. Why is he a weirdo? I think he's chill. He might be. You know what? I have to say, Rocco is fine as hell, though. I was like, she got a good looking ass son. Look, he's old enough. We could say that now. He's in his mid-20s. We could say that now. Now, when he was little, I was like, basically looked like his father with a big old head. Now he's grown into his looks. Oh yeah, I forgot we did mention that the other day about his fault. That Prince's death anniversary was coming up. We talked about the story with the drummer, and he didn't allow people like Madonna and Bruce Springsteen in his dressing room and all that stuff. It's going to be the biggest movie of the year because it crosses about 4 generations: silent generation, baby boomer, Gen X, and millennials, and early Gen Z. Michael was a huge household name. Well, I definitely want to hear from the fans if they're going to say that was like, yeah, I liked the movie. It was entertaining, but I wanted a little more. I wanted a deep dive into, Michael and who he was. Because I'm like, yeah, it's okay. So you're recreating music video sequences that we could just go on YouTube and watch at home for free. hmm The siblings were bought out from their estate. That would be messy. But you ain't like the one that Wendy Williams produced? Yeah, I know that movie was a damn mess. I'm like, what is this shit? Wait, who played her? The Storm number 2, Alexandra Shipp, right? Because Storm number 1 was Halle Berry. Then we had the other, I was like, what is this mess? I want to, but I would like to see Aaliyah biopic. But child, if we get that, we're just gonna be dealing with a bunch of perverted ass, grown ass men take advantage of a young girl. R. Kelly, Dame Dash, Jay-Z. The list goes on. I mean, Timberland, we could add that up in there too, because he talked about he was in love with her. I was like, these are things y'all should keep to yourselves. It was Randy woman first. Okay, I knew it was somebody. So it was Randy, then Jermaine. I was like, I'm fucking the same woman. And then she spread her legs and have kids with the both of them. Just nasty. They all nasty. Jermaine was with a Gordy, but that didn't last. Well, remember when Milan Christopher running around calling himself a damn Gordy? Jermaine and Randy have kids from the same. That's how I knew it was something. Nasty asses. They said, did you see that Jay? Why y'all so messy on this show? Because I'll be encouraging it. Is that did you see what J-Ho's 2 weirdo kids have turned into? And they look like they daddy. Skeletor, Mark Anthony, Hollywood is a mess. Well, look, first of all, Emmy is non-binary, and the son, I think, got a little case of the tism. He do give that. I don't want to be speaking ill of nobody kids, but guess what? They grown now. They 18. So we could say stuff. Yes, you do got some good. I would say that Britney Spears kids grew up to be good looking too. Look, they old enough. They 19 and 20. So um this is just weird to me because I'm just like, damn. I hate the fact that I'm getting older because I was like, I remember when they was little. And now now these are adult children now. Well, adults. There's no such thing as an adult child. That's weird. The Wendy Williams story is on Netflix, a Lifetime movie that came out. Yeah, I remember seeing that. I think once was enough. Child, don't even get me started on that biopic. Did sit through like TLC biopic starring Kiki Palmer. That was a mess too. Most people would not be able to coordinate an Aaliyah biopic. Better hope for an unofficial one that just happens to be. Yeah, because that won't never happen. With all the stuff going on behind the scenes and so many people would be incriminated in what went on with her, that's not gonna happen. So are the kids cousins or half siblings? They probably both. How does that work? Also, that woman lived in the Jackson house after all that with the brothers. I'd have kicked him to the curb. And then Michael going on TV talking about, well, when I was little, we couldn't have birthdays. We didn't celebrate Christmas. I said, because you was a Jehovah's Witness. That's why. It ain't got nothing to do with why your child. I mean, that could be why your childhood was fucked up because y'all was in that religion. But it's like, yeah, when you in them situations where you can't celebrate birthdays and Christmases and stuff, what do you expect? Look, that's what I was hoping for. We can get a little bit of wacko jacko, but they want to play. They want to Disney-fy, which I told y'all they was going to do. And then now everybody's talking like they that's what happened, or at least a hilarious, unserious one starring P. Simone. And you said, why are young black men walking around with? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. I didn't even know men was walking around with handbags. Like a prayer across 400 million streams. Congratulations to Madonna for that. But I wonder if it's stemming from people still. Oh well, yeah, Coachella. She did just perform that, and I know some people were saying like, why didn't she do "Hung Up" at the end with Sabrina? That would have been a good one because she could did the little choreography that she does. But from what some people were theorizing, they think that she chose Like a Prayer because it was in Deadpool, it went viral, TikTok, streaming, all that stuff. So Madonna's kind of playing into the whole TikTok trend streaming, trying to get a lot of people interested. And I heard she was upset that, there was a bunch of goddamn corpses watching her at Coachella because they were all like this staring into their phone, not moving it to the side and realizing she's like literally right there. But you want to look at her like here, like you watching her at home. I'm like, what is wrong with this generation? I don't get it. People are weird. they use wait, what? You said this is a queer show. Man, she performed her two most popular songs on streaming apps. Exactly. That's why I said it was all pandering to the streaming. How are actors making money these days? The industry is dead. Well, Kirk Acevedo, I don't know if y'all know him, but he's been in a lot of films. He was on Oz. That's why I mostly know him from, but he's been done a little things here and there. He said like middle class actors are kind of being pushed out because before, like he was doing cable shows, he was doing a lot of TV spots and all this other stuff. And now because like you said, the industry is dying, people aren't really making money. Now you have A-list actors who are being aged out and pushed out of making cinematic films. They're coming on and doing like these 8-part streaming shows and all these other things. And the people that were making a living doing those shows are getting pushed out for bigger names, like the Nicole Kidmans and the Oscar Isaac, who's in Beef season 2. And then you got Nicole Kidman with her show with Jamie Lee Curtis on Prime Video. And you got all these other A-list celebrities who are coming over there doing that, and they're pushing out all these other actors who that's where they make their bread and butter. So they're struggling. He's talking about he had to sell his house. So it's a good question. This whole industry is going to the shitter. The Coachella performance of Hung Up in 2006 was iconic. Yeah, you don't want to mess that up because I was like, she did enough of the confession stuff. I'm sure we'll hear Hung Up on the upcoming tour and all that good stuff. Like a Prayer, audio, YouTube, music, 529 million views. Video is 400 million, close to 1 billion combined on YouTube, both YouTube and YouTube Music. I think that was the first time I probably said YouTube that many times in a sentence. I resorted to watching my favorite movies over and over. Well, usually that's what I do. I just be out here watching the same movies and shows and stuff over and over because none of the new stuff has got me excited. It takes a lot for me to want to get in a new show. I wanted Mads to perform something a little more trendy with my generation. Into the Groove. What if this? I'm like, these are songs that are trendy with your generation. This is good to know. Into the Groove, What It Feels Like for a Girl. I hated that song, by the way, What It Feels Like for a Girl. Angel, But Whatever. Most of the audience didn't know the songs anyway. Of course not. Sidebar. What It Feels Like, but actually, I didn't hate What It Feels Like for a Girl. I like the remix. The original version, I don't really listen to it whenever I do skip that when I'm listening to that. You know what's another song I can't stand? I can't stand Little Star. Every time that song comes on, I have to fast forward that too. I get it, it's for Lourdes, but it just gave me lullaby tease. Just saw the trailer for Nicole Kimmy and Sandra Bullock. It's funny, you're the second person that came and said that in the comments. Um, who was the other one? Felix said he saw it. Yeah, I saw it yesterday. It looks interesting. I'll go see the movie when it comes out. Oh yeah, I had to rephrase. I like the remix, the one with the music video remix. I do like that one, probably because there's not a lot of lyrics in it. It's just like she's saying "for a girl in this world" a bunch of times with this trancy ambient beat. Into the Groove sounds 80s too, but it's one of my favorite Madge tracks. Explicit is a terrible song, but whenever I watch the Sticky and Sweet tour, I do sing along with it. Senorita, I just wanna fall in love. It is so stupid. You said I'm so stupid might be her worst. I don't know. I just always imagine her doing yoga moves when she's singing that song. And nobody's perfect. I actually the I like her how she performed that on the Drown World tour. That's the only reason why I like that song. So it's the performances that go with it. That's the only thing I like about um the song as a whole. But anyway, y'all, let's get back into the show. I am loving these conversations though, so keep them coming. And let's talk about Sydney Sweeney, who apparently has been cut from the upcoming Devil Wears Prada 2. So we got Michael this coming out this week, Devil Wears Prada coming out next week. And word on the curb is the fact that Sydney Sweeney had a part in the middle, I mean, not the middle, in the beginning of the movie. She was supposed to be playing herself, and her part was cut because they felt that it didn't fit with the flow of the movie, basically, which I kind of figured that's what it was. So let's get into the tea. Now, when The Devil Wears Prada hits theaters on May 1st, audiences will notice a few famous faces, though there's a couple of notable absences. The sequel, which premiered on Monday night in New York, is loaded with cameos from the fashion and entertainment worlds. Lady Gaga makes an appearance and also recorded a Doshi-assisted track Runway for the film's soundtrack. Donatella Versace, who stepped down as creative director of her family's brand, filmed the scene in Milan for a cameo. Supermodel Naomi Campbell Walk also appears, having been seated next to Meryl Streep's Miranda Priestley at the Dolce & Gabbana Spring 2026 show, which was shot live during Milan Fashion Week. But not everyone who showed up on set made it on screen. A source explained to Entertainment Weekly that Sydney's cameo would have happened towards the top of the film, but it was ultimately cut out in a creative decision. Excuse me. The Euphoria star filmed a roughly 3-minute scene near the top of the movie in which she played herself being dressed for an event by Emily Blunt's character Emily Charlton, now running Dior's U.S. operations. Now, according to a source, the scene did not work structurally with the rest of the sequence, and the team found the decision to remove it a difficult one. Sweeney, for her part, has hardly been hurting for screen time lately. She's recently returned to the project that launched her to superstardom, which would basically be Euphoria, the third and thank God final season. Now, also trimmed from the finish room was How to Get Away with Murder actor, and I have to say he looked good in person because I saw him in the play Here Lies Love. Conrad Ricamora, who y'all know was from, well, as they said, How to Get Away with Murder, who had been cast as Andy's roommate. Now, sources say the character didn't survive test screenings. Audiences kept questioning why Andy needed a roommate at all, which is true. If you are someone who's successful, has money, why the fuck do you need a roommate? That's only if you're struggling out in these streets, you would need a roommate. So yeah, there's no reason why there needed to be that situation. Now, the final film instead leans into her spending time with Tracy Toms's character at Tracy Toms's character's place, a dynamic that sources say plays more realistic to the 2006 original. Meanwhile, one cameo that never happened was Jessica Chastain's. Rumors of the Oscar winner appearing in the film circulated online, in July of 2025 after the actress was seen in New York City during the time of principal photography. However, the gossip proved to be false because Chastain never even filmed a cameo. Now, when speaking to Variety's Mark Malkin at the Vanity Fair Oscar party in March about a possible cameo, Anna Wintour played coy, telling him, "That's for you to find out." Now, the Condé Nast Global Content chief visited the sequel's Milan set, where director David Franco captured her in what he called a gag take that will appear as a bonus feature on streaming, though Wintour got ahead of her cue, leaving the shot partially out of focus. So I can't ask Anna to do a take two. Why the fuck not? If she's gonna be in your movie, have her redo it. But I guess everybody's scared of her cold self. and I've actually seen Anna Wintour in person. I saw her at there was a we did a Wimbledon tennis thing at the Garden, and she was there. She came out in this like fabulous red coat and that signature Edna Mode bowl cut. So what does I want to say? Okay, so they said Frankel told the Back Row. This is what he told the Back Row podcast. Her contribution behind the camera proved more consequential anyway. While watching a scene roll in the fictional Dior offices, Wintour zeroed in on the flowers in frame, declared there were too many as they were too pink, and informed the crew that Dior would only ever have white flowers. The blooms were promptly swapped out. Now, it's not uncommon for celebrity cameos to be cut from movies once the editing process begins, because you remember when they did I Know What You Did Last Summer remake, Lola Tongue and Nicholas Alexander Chavez were supposed to be in the movie. I believe there was supposed to be an opening sequence where they were supposed to be in, and they ended up cutting the entire scene from the movie. I don't know if their scene has appeared on the DVD or whatever the case is, but they were cut from the film. But I felt like with this, maybe like the same thing y'all talked about, that you want to use it for a gag reel or whatever with Anna Wintour. Why not do that with Sydney Sweeney? And if there's any other in the Conrad Kimora scene, have those scenes be a part of the deleted scene situation. So that way, when people order it or buy the movie, they'll have these little things that they can look at and realize, okay, so because of timing and flow and how the film was being put together, y'all wanted to cut all this stuff in the movie. So why not do that? There's an idea. So, and then it also said Simone Ashley, who happens to be in Devil Wears Prada 2, she was actually cut from F1. So, I don't think Sydney would be all upset about it, but like I said, just put her scene in the deleted scene, and people will be able to see what she did when we get around to it. So, I'll say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story that poor Sydney and them boobs are not going to be in The Devil Wears Prada 2? Her cameo, I guess, just didn't fit with the flow of the movie. And sometimes that happens. As an actor, be prepared to be on the cutting room floor. It's happened to many of us, including myself. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. My favorite actress is Anissa Kate. Who was that? He said, word is Madonna might do the Sphere for the U.S. leg of Confessions 2 tour. Think 70 dates. Madonna in Vegas. She might hate the city, but a $450 million paycheck might make it easier. I'm trying to wonder if that would be interesting if she actually did Vegas, but we'll see. Lola and Nicholas cutscene is yet to leak. I really want to see it. You and me both. I haven't heard about Nick Chavez or Coop in a minute. Body 2T or not to be. Yeah, whatever happened to yeah, I haven't heard about Cooper Cox. Whatever happened to him? Last time I saw him, he was at there was a concert that I remember oh, I think it was Lady Gaga's concert. He was at one of the shows. Came right out the suite with his man. But all right, y'all. So now oh yeah, we gotta go to this topic. This was an add-on. So let's get into this Scooter Braun situation where there's this whole smear campaign. There was somebody that has to do with Justin Baldoni and all this other stuff, and apparently he was caught up in it. Well, saying that Scooter Braun had ties to this situation, and I'm like, chill. So let's get into it because it'll be the first time I'm actually reading this because I didn't get around to actually reading it. So I was like, where is it? Okay, I got it. I'm gonna read it from my phone. Okay, so it says a new court filing appears to tie Scooter Braun more tightly to the entertainment industry's emerging smear site Saga. This is according to the Hollywood Reporter, where they first exposed the clandestine operation in February. Now, the scandal initially surfaced via a lawsuit connected to Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni's It Ends With Us legal war, which is slated for trial in May. Bought by publicist Stephanie Jones, the suit alleges a cottage industry of defamatory anonymous websites operating from a shared playbook orchestrated by Baldoni's crisis publicist, Melissa Nathan, and online fixer Jed Wallace. A second suit filed in February by actress turned activist Alexa Nicholas, a target of one of these smear sites, also named Baldoni's lawyer, Brian Friedman, as a defendant. Jones and Nicholas contend they've uncovered digital campaigns of discrimination in which perpetrators destroyed reputations by alleging without substantiation. It's funny, y'all trying to put all these big ass words in here. That adversaries engaged in, among other activities, prostitution, embezzlement, drug dealing, extortion, and human trafficking. Those efforts apparently relied on a mix of sock puppet accounts across social media platforms, which promoted the spurious claims of vilifying websites. In response to Jones' litigation, Freeman has previously denied to THR that he and his associates have been involved in the activity and termed the allegation speculation presented as fact. Now, in an updated complaint, Nicholas asserts that her name is linked through the internet's hidden SEO infrastructure to the financier Peter Commissar, a former legal adversary of Braun. Commissar was previously embroiled in a $200 million dispute over a private equity fund with Braun to stop what they said with Braun and top music manager David Bono, that became public in 2021. The overlap appears to evidence common strategies being used against Miss Nicholas and Mr. Commissar, her attorney writes. Now, in his suit against the two music execs, Commissar alleged that Bono stated that Braun would trash Commissar's pristine reputation and that Braun alluded to a smear campaign that he would unleash. Several websites and social media accounts have materialized, raising questions about Commissar's personal and professional history. Braun made his name shepherding the careers of Justin Bieber, Ariana Grande, and Demi Lovato before evolving into a mogul with ownership stakes in a portfolio and entertainment assets later acquired by South Korean giant Hybe in 2021. Following the sale, he served for a time as CEO of the American subsidiary. Now, the veteran investment banker, Commissar, previously held senior roles for Goldman Sachs and Guggenheim Securities before founding Story 3, a Los Angeles-based private equity firm focused on consumer brands, including Lands' End and Sur La Table. He is also director and significant minority shareholder of Rent the Runway. Funny in the names, I mean, funny enough, as I'm reading this ain't got no connection to Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively in the situation. So I don't understand where the connection is. So it says Commissar is not the first Braun adversary to appear in one of the smear sites. Jones' suit also revealed that an anonymous site targeting prominent K-pop executive Min Hee-jin is linked to other apparent targets. Min, the former CEO of Hybe subsidiary ADOR and Svengali-like figures behind groups such as Girls' Generation and New Jeans, somebody named their group New Jeans, has been engaged in her own legal fight with Braun's Hybe. Wasn't isn't what's that damn group? The one that Manon is a part of. Aren't they a part of Hybe as well? In January Instagram post, she wrote that she had met with a lawyer who's currently handling lawsuits in the US to uncover what Nathan's firm Tag PR has really been up to, adding pieces are starting to come together. Men didn't detail these pieces, but available information points to her possible thinking. Hybe American subsidiary took a controlling interest in Tag PR, while Braun served as the entertainment firm's CEO. The company divested of it in 2025. The same year, Bono, a close friend and business associate of Braun, who previously served as Hybe's America's COO, established a limited liability company in partnership with Wallace, according to California state business filings. Meanwhile, in a deposition, Jones has detailed how Nathan purportedly did crisis work for Bono after. In 2023, a singer died of a fatal overdose in the married executive's Miami hotel suite. Bono has called the death a terrible tragedy, but did not, child, you did something. You had something to do with it, allegedly. So, of course, Hybe did not respond to THR's request for comment. Now, Lively's attorney, Sigrid McCrawley, on April 2nd, framed her client's case around the issue of reprisal and its consequences, saying for Blake Lively, the greatest measure of justice is that people and the playbook behind these coordinated digital attacks have been exposed and are already being held accountable. So it's funny how this is some bullshit that you tried it, THR. It seems like to me, y'all brought up all this extra stuff about Bruno, about Scooter and Hybe and all this other stuff that they got going on, and then try to link Blake and her situation with like this smear campaign tacked it on the bottom of the article. This is why I'm just like the way I'm looking at it, and I'm definitely looking forward to hearing. I hope that Andy Signor over there at Popcorn Planet comes across this article. If not, I may have to send it to him. And hit him up and be like, "Have you seen this article over there on?" And then they break it on down, him and his attorneys or whatever, his lawyer people that he has come on the show, and really try to understand it. Because I always said before, a lot of these corporate sponsored or corporate owned conglomerates, like a THR, like a Variety, like a Deadline, they're gonna cuck themselves to the Blake Lively's and the Ryan Reynolds because they're A-list and they're powerful people in powerful positions, and they want to still have that proximity to them, especially if Ryan Reynolds has a movie that he's in, he's going to be coming out. If there tends to be some type of connection in all of this, present it in court, and we'll see what the judge says about it when we cross that bridge. Where you going? I mean, are you planning on subpoenaing? If they're saying they have something to do with it, you plan on subpoenaing Scooter Braun and have him testify in court? So that you're trying to see like they may have some sort of connection with all this. I mean, that's basically what upon me reading it, and now that it's marinating in my brain, that's what I'm trying to make of it, like make some sort of sense. Because I was like the first time I read the article. So I'm gonna just have a deep dive into this topic a little more. But yeah, it just felt like it was just y'all you did that whole thing about this expose of Hybe and all this other stuff. Not saying that Scooter's innocent in any way, because he has been known to be problematic in his shady business dealings, allegedly. But if there's some connection with them and Justin Baldoni trying to create a smear campaign towards Blake, then when it's time for this shit to go to trial next month, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But in the meantime, I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story regarding this whole thing where they're saying that he's tied to this Hollywood smear saga? But it seemed like it was a smearing of other people, and now you're trying to attach and make it seem like there's some connection between him and the smear camp, that he may have had something to do with the smearing the messing or ruining, I guess is the word, ruining the reputation of Blake Lively. So, whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. So, is Demi Lovato still in contact with Scooter Braun? I'm not sure. I don't think so. I'm not sure. I know she's on tour right now. I mean, I'm about to do her show on Friday. And funny enough, I actually thought I was doing Florence and the Machine tomorrow. Apparently, I'm not doing Florence and the Machine tomorrow. There's a they say potential spam. Let me block that. Um, apparently it's like, what show am I doing tomorrow? Well, they told me. I was like, well, damn, the whole time I thought that's what I was doing. And then my manager basically just said me, if you receiving this email, what you're doing is there's a show, who is it, in the theater from a band, they said a Grammy Award winning rock band called Zoe. Don't know who that is, but apparently that's what I'm doing. I'm like, child, really? Of all the times y'all put me in the theater, that's who you have me doing a show for? I don't know them. So you said, damn, I missed the hour. Well, child, that's what the rewind button is for. Or you can watch the playback. But yeah, we had a lot of tea that we was spilling up in here. But anyway, let's get back into the show, y'all. Hold on, let me get rid of that. And who are we talking about? All right, let's talk about Megan Thee Stallion, who now speaking of cases, because we were just talking about the one with Scooter and Blake Lively and all of them. But I guess we got some sad news on Megan Thee Stallion part because this whole situation with this cyberbullying complaint that she had towards Milagro has pretty much been tossed out. So and they said I guess it has to do with the fact of free speech. So a federal judge is refusing to grant Megan Thee Stallion a cyberstalking injunction against celebrity gossip blogger Milagro Grams, ruling that it would unfairly infringe her First Amendment rights. Yeah, she ain't stupid like Trashy K. So you're not gonna have to deal with the same thing that what she was doing, which was clearly making up lies and cyberbullying and all that mess, and still doing it. Which is why Cardi B still got to keep getting in her ass. Now, Megan won a $59,000 in damages at a November jury trial for in her lawsuit against Grams, who she had accused of defaming her while serving as a mouthpiece for Tory Lanez after the singer was convicted in 2022 of shooting Megan. Oh, I meant to say it pow pow because certain words you can't say on YouTube. In 2020. But a ruling on Monday, April 20th, obtained by Billboard, Judge Cecilia M. Altonaga refused to go beyond the verdict and issue a permanent injunction barring Grams from a wide range of future conduct. The judge said vulgar and insulting statements were not enough for a court order banning speech. See, which, like I said, what you probably needed was the same lawyer that handled the Trashy K Cardi B case. But the difference is that Malaga was out here just regurgitating things, according to the reports, whatever, that I guess Tori was telling her, and she was using it as stuff to go viral on her channel. And Megan got mad and did the lawsuit, and she got her coins. But to say like you can permanently not say anything about me, it's like, oh, you got your big one. Now I could still talk about the case or still talk about you if stuff comes out about it. And me just saying certain things, whatever, that's like, yeah, I still have a right to say what I'm going to say. She probably thought that she was going to pull a Cardi B. And the judge was like, yeah, it's not enough there for you to even try to get what you're trying to get. But in a ruling so then they said that as tempting as it might be to force some civility into the matter by staunching defendants' speech against plaintiffs through an injunction, doing so would ignore the protections of the First Amendment. This is what the judge wrote, quoting from earlier cases. Plaintiffs' proposed permanent injunction directed at defendants' future speech is overbroad and a classic example of a prior restraint on speech that triggers First Amendment concerns. So, Megan, who you know is on Broadway right now doing Moulin Rouge, her reps have not returned any requests for comment. Now, Lanes, I also heard Tory Lanez is suing the prison that he's in for. Well, I don't know if he was transferred, but that incident that happened, the stabation, he's suing him for what happened to him. That's the latest story that came out about him. So yeah, Daystar Peterson was convicted in December of 2022 on 3 felony counts over the 2020 shooting, in which he pow-powed Megan in the foot, Della Reese style in Harlem Nights, during an argument following a pool party at Kylie Jenner's, where she was trying to throw that thing up on Daystar while he was with Megan, allegedly. At Kylie Jenner's house in the Hollywood Hills, he was sentenced a decade in prison in August of 2023, and his convictions were upheld to appeal in November. In a 2024 civil lawsuit, Megan's attorneys accused Grams of repeatedly spreading falsehoods about the criminal case, including questioning whether Megan was even pow-powed at all. The lawsuit claimed the blogger made those claims because she was serving as a puppet for Lanez as the singer sat behind bars. Megan herself took the witness stand in November at the trial in November, testifying that Graham's post and the online backlash that followed them had caused her severe mental stress. Well, I'm surprised she didn't put the no neck chipmunk up in there too. Academics, because wasn't he running around spreading lies about her too, and acting like and now he acting like the mouthpiece for Drake, because that's his only A-list friend that he got. He be hanging on that colonizer. Now, Megan was up to, okay, so they said jurors eventually sided with Megan, finding that Grams had defamed her, intentionally inflicted emotional distress, and that reposted an illegal pornographic deep fake of the rapper. Yeah, when you out here doing revenge P and stuff that is not even true because you're trying to go viral. So you was in so many ways pulling a trashy K. But I guess it didn't get extreme to the point where you was able to get some of the same things put on Milagro that Cardi was able to get on Trashy Gay. So yeah, then they said after the trial, Megan sought an injunction that would have forbidden Grams on making defamatory statements about Megan's mental and emotional state or from any claims intended to incite third parties to engage in threats of violence. Her lawyers argued that Grams had continued to harass the star online even after the verdict and must be stopped. But on her ruling on Monday, George Altanaga said Graham's statement after the trial does not satisfy the definition of cyberstalking and that a permanent gag order was not something that would pass muster under the Constitution, saying the First Amendment prohibits almost all restraints of future speech. Plaintiff has certainly accused defendant of creating offensive, vulgar, and insulting posts, but such conduct alone does not justify imposing an overboard injunction directed at defendant's future speech. Because it's like, yeah, people be running out here saying all kinds of derogatory stuff and being disrespectful and using profanity and being slick with the mouth and all this stuff. But yeah, but that's not enough to get under the fact of, okay, now this girl got to get a permanent gag order. Now, when you out here talking about you people out here giving STDs and a father's an abuser of children and all that stuff, which is what that McGilla Gorilla Bigfoot dragon ass Trashy K was out here saying, full on lies, and literally deliberately seeking out people who have an axe to grind with the celebrity and paying them to do interviews when the shit ain't true. It's their word against the A-list celebrity, and you out here just spreading falsehoods to go viral on your channel and the profit off of it, and the person files a lawsuit, or if you spreading lies because some person getting a moment on there on your show or whatever, then yeah, that's a problem. That's why I said what I do is I stick to the rivers and the lakes that I'm used to, which is a story comes out from reliable sources. I go through the story, I give my opinion, and I go on to the next thing. So, I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. I feel so bad for Meg. She was the hottest new thing. Not you putting in a specific number, 7 years ago, and that seemingly became her peak until his. And even after that, she still gets mistreated for sending Tori to the house. When it's like, whatever happened to people just taking responsibility for the shit they do? You the one that had the gun. You the one that pow-powed in the street. You the one that was going through a whole enraged moment. And she ain't the one that came at him. She's not the one that snitched. When do people get that through their head? That was the state of California decided to try him, not her. So if be mad at the government, don't be mad at her. But it's easy to do that because she's a woman. Y'all hate women. She's black. A lot of y'all don't like black women. She's a rapper. She's this thing that you see. So there's a face to the hate that you can put your hate on. So that's why they pick on her. But yeah, after this whole Broadway stint, I just hope that Megan gets some inspiration to make some good damn rap music for once. Because I like the idea of Megan, but a lot of times I don't be feeling her like that music wise. I mean, there's a couple of songs she got. All right, y'all. So now, let's get to our next topic. And let's talk about Kimora Lee. Well, Kimora Lee, I guess at this point, because Kimora can't seem to keep a damn man, unfortunately. Because it looks like her latest husband, I don't even know what number this husband is, but apparently her husband was out of here money laundering. You're getting into white collar crimes. He's filing for divorce. So I'm just like, damn, Kimora. At this point, stay single, because every time you get in a relationship, it just doesn't end well. So Kimora Lee Simmons' estranged husband, Tim Leisner, has filed a divorce from the fashion designer following around 4 years of separation. The finance executive, who's 56, submitted, I think is what they meant, documents in LA Superior Court on February 4th, reviewed by the Daily Mail, that stated he and Simmons, who's 50, had encountered irreconcilable differences in their 12-year marriage. The German-born banker who wed Simmons in March of 2014 has asked the court to award him spousal support. Child, ain't that some shit? From Simmons, and block her from getting money from him. So you want her money, but you don't want his. Child, get out of here. I mean, what money? You was busy laundering the money. The one-time Goldman Sachs director asked the court to order Simmons to pay for his court expenses in the case. Now, the Daily Mail has reached out to reps for Simmons for further comment on the story. The baby-fat entrepreneur and Leisner are parents to son Wolf Lee, and child, she got a baby with every damn man she been with. It's like you got 2 kids with Russell, Ming and Aoki. I was gonna say Ming and Lee. Ming Lee and Aoki Lee. Then you got the baby with Jaimin Honsu. Then you got the baby with this one. Well, good thing them eggs is powder now, so that she get married again, she won't be able to have another one. So the St. Louis native is, they said she got 5 kids. And that's funny, I just went through the kids. I might have missed one. So yeah, they said daughters Ming, 25, and Aoki, who's 23, with Russell Simmons. Son Kenzo, who's 16, with ex Jaimin Hunsu, and son Gary, who she adopted in 2020. Well, I didn't even know she adopted a child. Now, Kimora Lee Simmons began seeing Leisner in the wake of her split from Hunsu. She was linked to the actor, whose cinematic credits include movies such as Amistad, Blood Diamond, and Guardians of the Galaxy, for more than 5 years, spanning 2007 and 2012. Now, Leisner, in August of 2018, entered a guilty plea in connection with conspiring to launder money and conspiring to violate the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act over a transaction involving Malaysia's government. The U.S. Justice Department said in 2023 that as part of the deal in which he entered his plea, Leisner forfeited $43 million in cash in addition of shares of stock valued at more than $200 million. Now, in February, Leisner turned himself into authorities at United States Penitentiary, Allenwood in Pennsylvania. His attorney, Henry Muzarek, told Bloomberg to begin his 2-year sentence. Kimora was wed to Russell Simmons from 1998, and they finalized their split in 2009. Now, the Def Jam co-founder's career has tumbled after at least 15 women. Okay, we don't need to go into the whole situation about Russell Simmons allegedly raping a bunch of women, because, and then he ran off to Bali. He said he ain't do it, but your ass ran off to another country so that way you wouldn't go to jail. I said, all right. If you want people to believe that foolishness. I was gonna say, all right, Roman Polanski, if you want us to believe that foolishness. So yeah, so that's basically this whole situation. I just say at this point, oh yeah, and then remember she got into it with Russell, and basically was saying that he don't do nothing with his children. He accused her of trying to influence their daughters against him. Then she said, my daughters is grown. You know these are lies. Why are you typing from thousands of miles away in a non-extradition country? Go negotiate and answer your accusers. Then she went and did an interview with People where she said, usually I would say I co-parent, but the kids are with me full time. I'm pretty much the primary parent. And she said that guys are weird. It's difficult for her to raise the children, but she's doing it. And a lot of the men that she's been with in her life haven't really been there for the kids. But it kind of made me wondering, girl, at some point we got to look at you and see, like, are you the problem? Like, what is it with the type of men that you pick that end up money laundering, an alleged rapist, aren't really partaking in the lives of the kids that they have with you. Or maybe it's just or maybe you just a toxic person where it's just like, don't nobody want to be around you. Kind of like Angelina Jolie. Because I don't understand, like, it's like, okay, so Brad Pitt has little situation, but we see like little things that Angelina's been doing, like she really trying to stick into him because she's mad and she seemed like she holds a grudge. Sidebar, it might have just came out that Shiloh was a lesbian because allegedly she got a girlfriend. I seen a girl, some girl that was with her. They trying to say might be somebody that she's seeing. I'm like, yeah, well, all them kids, Brad and Angelina bound to have a child that's about to be a homosexual, if not more than one. But we'll see. All right, Kimora. Yeah, like I said, at this point, just stay single because every time you get in a relationship, it turns out to be a hot ass mess or it doesn't end well. So I'll say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Kimora Lee Simmons' husband being messy and talking about that he want her to pay his spousal support and for his legal fees? And I'm sitting there like, well, look, you better dig up that money from somewhere you might have stashed from that Goldman Sachs white collar crimes that you was committing and use that to pay your bills because I'd be damned. So let me know what you guys think. But then again, I guess in this situation, turnabout's a fair game. They be saying women be wanting to do that when it comes to the rich men that they be with. I want you to pay my child spousal support, and I want you to pay this and pay that, and men have to pay it. But then when the men want it from the women, we got a problem with it. So as they say, turnabout is a fair game. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right, y'all. So let's get to our next topic. Hold on. How many more topics we got? Oh, we done our final four. So before we get to our final four topics, if you could please do me a solid, if you haven't already, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Also, be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. You also have super chats, super stickers. You could also become a member if you like. You could also hype the channel. Definitely helps put the show out there for more eyes to get on it. Definitely want to help with this little channel that could. We are growing a little by little and trying to hit 4K before the summer. So we almost there. So, and I appreciate everybody that loves the show and gets caught up in the shenanigans and the mess that we do over here. And even those who are just watching, the just standard buyers, and those who partake in the conversation in the comments. So without further ado, let's get into this story. And let's talk about Eric Benét, who had to go in and let have on his family because apparently he's posting things on social media and they have a problem with the fact that he be cursing. Well, look, that was the thing with my mother too. She was like, "Oh, I don't watch your show because you curse." I was like, "That's fine," because you would gag over some of the stuff I say over here. And I'm actually, funny enough, I'm actually okay with the fact that I don't have, like, my sister. She'll watch clips and things. My brother, I could care less. Hopefully he's not sneak. Like he created something and watch myself. I hope that's not a situation. If I find out, he will get blocked. But I like the fact that that my parents aren't really as interested in my whole this side of me or whatever the case is. Because she's like, I don't like when I be coming across a thing, you be cursing and all this stuff. So that's why she said, and I'm like, okay, that's fine, Christian lady. And so, yeah, now Eric Benet's going through it. So I do have a clip of what he had to say. So basically, it was like, yeah, he's addressing criticism from his own family over his explicit language on social media. The artist revealed that some relatives feel embarrassed by his unfiltered Instagram posts. Benet, however, made it clear he's not changing. He said, I said what I said, and I ain't changing." His tone, and he basically responded to the backlash. So we do have a clip. Wait, hold on, because I'm like, let me refresh it. And hold on, let me go to the thing. Shout out to the Jasmine brand for this clip, by the way. We're gonna go to the clip. We're gonna come back. We're gonna hear what he had to say. Please hold.
It has come to my attention that some of my family members have taken issue with how exuberantly I use profane vernacular on my social media platforms.
Not exuberantly. All right, T.I. with the big words.
In other words, they are embarrassed by how much I cuss on this shit. To this, I say, accept me as I am. Only then can we discover each other. In other words, fuck off and just unfollow my shit, motherfucker.
And look, he said what he said. I thought that funny. It was like, well, you know what? I'm gonna piss y'all off even more, and I'm gonna just cuss. But I totally get it because I'm like, look, I am who I am. I ain't changing. I talk how I talk. Cursing does not mean that you are less than smart. Doesn't mean you're ignorant. In fact, they've said that people who curse are highly intelligent. So that's just it's just a form of expression. Doesn't mean that you don't have the big word. I mean, he used big words as he was cussing y'all the fuck out. So um what some of the people said in the comments. So some of the people over here said facts. Well, I did say those family members aren't going to unfollow him because they nosy. And then another person said, I knew he was going to take it to hell. Another person said, don't let the R&B crooning fool you. He's a real nigga from Milwaukee. Well, and also, that's who Halle married back in the day. He the one breaking family curses, literally. And another person said, imagine telling a 60-year-old to stop cussing his grown family members. Another person said, whole time they sent him a friend request strictly to see what he's saying. Oh, that's the worst. It's funny how you get people who request you and follow you, and then they get mad over what you posting. I'm like, what you thought? I was gonna be holy and sanctified over here? Like you really about to be in for an awakening. Look, child, I said that earlier because I was going through my social media and on Instagram I seen like I got a couple of followers. So I was like, wait, who this cute man that work at the barber shop that's following me? Child, that was my damn barber. My barber follows me on Instagram because I was like, wait. Then I look, it's like Juan Pablo. Mm-mm. So I was like, you about to be in for a rude awakening when you hear what the shit that come out of this mouth because I am holy and sanctified, but child, quiet as it's kept. I barely talk when I'm getting a haircut. I'm very much like in, out, don't bother me. I'm the same way in Ubers too. Like I have it request that when I'm in the Uber, you acknowledge what, Chris? Yes. Get in the car, drive me point A to point B. I'm checking my messages. I'm doing stuff. I don't want to have a conversation. I don't do any of that. Although when I get in Ubers, I have a friend who will literally. He's okay with the whole having a conversation with the Uber driver. Like they've been best friends for years. I'm like, y'all will sit and have that. I will interject when I need to, but y'all have at it. But so I have my things about me. But yeah, if I'm in certain situations, I'm like absolute silence. I don't want to talk. Leave me alone. That's it. That sort of thing. It's my peace moment, my peace and quiet moment. But yeah, if you're on social media, that's supposed to be your space where it's like, yeah, I say the things that I want to say over here. So shout out to you, Eric Benét, and keep being you. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Are you the types that um has your family actually ever called you out on your social media activity, like certain things you post on social media, certain things you say, and has it gotten to the point where it's like, well, if you got a problem with my what I put on social media, do you block them? Or do you be like, look, if you got a problem with my stuff, you can either unfollow or or I'm gonna just block your ass, whatever the case is. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. Let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below. Hold on. I was like, um, Diplo basically said, whether we like it or not, AI is here to stay. Tech always wins. So it's either get on board or get lost because you're on the losing end of the battle. Well, I definitely feel like, you know what? If I don't really have a problem with AI. My thing is, if there's certain tools that you want to use it for to enhance certain situations, by all means use it. But if you're gonna be lazy with the whole AI thing, where to the point y'all trying to replace everybody with stuff, then it's gonna be problematic. Because I have heard some actors are trying to slowly get on board with the whole AI thing. And speaking of which, speaking of Diplo, I forgot to mention right after I got off the Sunday show that we did. I saw that Major Lazer did a DJ set over at Coachella, so I ended up watching that. I actually like their set because Diplo was up there, his fine self DJing, Then he had one of the guys as a part of Major Lazer, and when the West Indian dude was out there being the hype man with the dancers. They had dancers and everything. So the girls was up there dancing to the music, his set and everything. And then they brought a couple of people that would just rap like some of the songs. There was this girl that has like chains in her hair. I'm just like, I don't know who that is, but she looks fierce. And then there was some other guy that I guess is part of Major Lazer with pink hair that was jumping up and down on the thing. So they was all being hype men up there. I know it was hot as hell out there too. There's certain people I don't cuss for, my grandparents. I mean, but he's not. I don't think he's saying like that he's doing it in front, like in a room with them. He's on social media expressing himself, and curses come out, and they're complaining, I guess, about the type of content that he's been posting on social media. He was nicer than me because I would have cussed a lot more. Plus, I'm an Aries and over 50. I'm the last person to lecture on how I. Okay, that's why I said I got a potty mouth too. I never put my real name anywhere. I always use aliases to avoid people following me. Oh, you my own social. Well, child, my name ain't really Chris Avalon. That's a stage name. Well, the name actually is Chris. The last name really isn't. I don't put my real name on stuff. Even my email is Chris Avalon. Chris Avalon official 481 at gmail.com. Like, I don't even use my real like name, email, all that stuff. I use the stage stuff. He said I post too much on Madonna. Well, with a new era, either delete or just scroll away. So what? I guess people get annoyed with the whole Madonna stuff. Anyway. All right, y'all. So okay, so I was like, we can get away from the celebrity news a little bit. Let's get into some real life mess. And let's talk about this story. So I happened to come across this over there on the Jasmine brand. So there's this story regarding a tenant who apparently was kicked out of their apartment for fornicating on the balcony. And so they ended up getting an eviction notice. So a Thread user recently hopped on the app to defend their cousin, who is now searching for a new apartment to live in after being evicted for engaging in adult activities outside on the balcony. Now, sharing the notice, informing their family member that they must vacate the property by April 24th, they wrote, "So my cousin is getting evicted for having intercourse on the balcony." Not y'all using the proper word for it. You should have said for fucking. How TF can they evict someone for having sex on their MF balcony that they pay bills at? Also, why is the neighbors not minding their MF business, SMH? Well, before we get into the tea, I would have to say maybe the reason for that is because you're having sexual relations on the balcony where people can see you. I remember there was a story that I saw where I forget where it was. It might have been like some news story that I saw. It might have been. I might have been watching Funky Dineva. Sometimes he brings up real life news stories, whatever. But it might have been a situation where there was a guy or a mother and a son who apparently had filed a case thing against their neighbor who lived across the street, who would always leave his curtains and everything open, and he would walk around his apartment naked. And so he's in full view of people seeing him La Froc Delicto, or whatever how to work. Butt ass naked. Let me stop trying to be all fancy with the words. He was butt ass naked in his apartment. And yes, it is your place, it's your situation. However, if you're in a situation where it's nighttime, the lights are shining outside, and I can see dead in your house when I'm seeing dick swinging, and God knows what else you probably beating your dick in your house in full view. Not everybody wants to see that. I understand maybe you a nudist, whatever the case is, and if you want to have sex and do all these other things, I understand there's a big exhibition type situation that goes on out here. But I think in certain situations, I know some people like that danger. Some people like I said, exhibition wanting to be watched. But I don't know. I think this is probably the conservative side of me coming out that is like, yeah, you should not be on your balcony doing stuff like that in the peripheral view of people because you never know who's watching. You know, everybody be so quick. But what about the children? So let me read what some of the people in the comments said. Somebody said she the cousin, meaning that the cousin is basically is the girl that's being evicted, but she's saying she the cousin. One person says, some of y'all not reading. This letter says multiple violations. They have told her not to do this. It also says they're getting complaints from residents and non-residents passing by the property. She all out in the open. Dane, at least wait until the midnight hours. Geesh. Another person said, if I'm sitting outside enjoying my balcony and look across the way and two adults are smashing, I'm calling the cops. We can see you. There's no walls, which means kids can see. I did not tell you this going to bring the kids up. Which means kids can see you. Even the adults, you don't get to assault my eyes with your shenanigans. Another person said, the fact that they are shocked tells me all I need to know. Children also reside at this complex. Eviction is warranted. I told them they're going to use the kids as a big thing. Another person said those are out of town activities. Why would they think this wasn't going to be problematic in a residential area? Another person said, coming from a property manager here, she's lucky the cops weren't called for lewd acts. This is definitely grounds for eviction. Another person said, no cause, no, because if I lived in an apartment and decided to sit on my balcony, I don't want to see that, nor would I want my child seeing that. Another person said, there are laws against public indecency. Being on a balcony, a publicly viewed area where other people can see you, is included in that. They are lucky they just got evicted and not a misdemeanor charge. Another person says she lucky she ain't going to jail. So a lot of people are basically saying like is lewd, unlawful, indecent, all that other stuff. It seems like we all on the same page because I'm saying the same thing. And don't get me wrong, I like a little freakiness in my situation as well. But I am also mindful of if I want to do something that is deemed public or whatever, know where to do the things. Meaning that my idea of public sex would be going to a sex party at the Red Rooster. Like something like that. That's my idea of public shit. And when I was younger, don't get me wrong, I was doing messiness too. I was having sex in public, but I ain't trying to get no charges, no offender. So I don't be doing that no more. But there be people out here that just be ODing with the whole situation. Y'all be like there's things where they on trains doing it. New York City trains in a whole car, a bunch of them with them shiesties on their face, dick out, fucking, and them trains be nasty. So I don't even know how y'all be doing that. But you know, these little goons don't care. These little baby goons, they don't care where they do stuff, or they on platforms, or they doing stuff out in the street, or like even if you're doing it on your balcony. I just think like a lot of the public indecency stuff. I don't think that's a smart thing to do. So it's like if you're not going to listen, then you're going to have to leave the apartment complex. And I'm sure it was a nice apartment because why would you want to give up a cute little apartment with a balcony because you out here carrying? And they told you many a times to stop what you doing. And clearly you feel like this is my house. I can do whatever I want. No, bitch. When you own the house, it's your house. When you renting, it ain't yours. So when you own the property and you have your own little balcony and there's no houses for miles, then you can go out on your balcony and fuck. And nobody can tell you nothing. Because you literally got your property and the next house, the neighbor is 3 miles away where nobody can see shit. You got trees and the sun and probably some bears. And I ain't talking about, big burly men. I'm talking about bears, the actual animal. So that should be the only neighbors that be able to see your shit is animals in the woods. This shit, when you actually sharing a complex with 300 some odd other people, that's not your property. So when you actually own the property, you can do whatever you want there. But here, it's not yours. So I guess they got a right to evict you. And hopefully this will be a lesson learned. But some of y'all out here ain't wrapped too damn tight. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding this tenant being evicted from their apartment because they laying it low and spreading it wide where the world can see them? Well, you can see what their insides look like. So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. I wonder if it was a private balcony or a common one, like in that pic. If the latter, then heck no. Go inside your. It's probably one of those common ones. I don't think it's a private balcony. It's probably like, when you see a lot of those apartment complexes and they have the balconies the way that they have them. And then I'm sure if you were across the way, people could see. So I'm thinking that it has to be like one of those, like the one in the photo. I mean, people that hunch in cars get caught up. Feels like this. Absolutely. There's plenty of them that get caught up. I remember that adult that the guy that does OnlyFans or whatever. His name is Durden. I think he said he almost got caught up a few times because he be in his truck doing things either with himself and with toys and or with other people. And then he said that the cops got called because he was behind like a store, whatever the case is, carrying and filming content. And he basically was like, by the time the cops showed, he said, I was talking to a homeless person. Yeah, I bet you was, yeah. He said he was out there talking to a homeless person. But that was like close calls. But yeah, there's people that do that. They be hunching in cars and stuff because I guess they got they can't do it at home. I'm from San Francisco, and if I saw two people hunching in the back of well, you said I saw two people hunching in the back of the Muni next to an old man. Well, isn't San Francisco? Don't they allow that there though? Like I know like in the Castro, right? Don't they allow like nudity and things like that? He said, I did once hook up with a guy on his terrace. I was concerned, but said nothing since it was his place. Plus, the terrace faced the back of the building. So, yeah, if you got a situation where it faces the back of the building where nobody can actually see, then I'm like, I'll be down to do something freaky where nobody can see me. I mean, you got to have a special kind of binoculars if like far away in order to see me doing like carrying. But if it's facing a place where a lot of public activity is happening and kids up outside playing in the yard, or if it's like across the street and there's a schoolyard right there and kids are exiting and you sitting out there pleasuring yourself or you getting pleasured and they can see that, then yeah, you grounds are getting locked up because there's some sickness in your head if you're doing that. I would not. I mean, quiet as it's kept, I wouldn't be surprised. Isn't he also a man beater? Yeah, I've seen naked people around Height Street. What if he ever went? I wonder if he actually got arrested for getting caught in the car, or did he include? Was that a part of one of his of content, and he just kept it in? Yeah, because you remember he was dating Porfy, who told that story of abuse. And he ain't the first one to talk about it. But anyway, let's get back into the show. And let's talk about Heat of Rivalry. So there's another Heat of Rivalry book coming out. The first one we talked about was like there's another part of the Game Changer franchise that's going to be coming out next year. It was supposed to come out later this year, but apparently Rachel Reed has been sick. I think she has multiple sclerosis. So she's been sick or whatever the case is. So that book was extended to coming out in 2027. But the creator of the show has a book coming out that is going to do a deep dive into some of the behind the scenes stuff that I'm sure the fans are going to appreciate. So let's get into that story because I was like, where is the damn picture? I found her. Took a minute. So few shows have captured the collective attention of viewers in the internet quite like Heat of Rivalry, which first premiered on HBO Max in November and continues to dominate publications like Rolling Stone and so many others. Like Out and all the gay ones. So now fans of the book to screen hockey romance can get behind the scenes look into the making of the show with a new book from the Heat of Rivalry co-star creator Jacob Tierney. Now, I'll Believe in Anything is billed as an official and complete collection of annotated scripts behind the biggest cultural sensation of the year, in addition to the full cast scripts for all 6 episodes of Heat of Rivalry Season 1. The book will also include exclusive behind-the-scenes content with commentary from Tierney and his producing partner, Brendan Brady. Now, Tierney announced the book earlier this month, and fans, or loons, as the show's diehard viewers call themselves. I had no idea that's what they were calling themselves. And some of y'all have been acting loony, especially when it comes to being, when it comes to the fact when y'all get a little super fanish, especially regarding um some of the cast. Like, for instance, when there was some stuff regarding Connor's story allegedly messing around with Francois Truffaut. Oh, Francois Truffaut, that's the director. um, famous director. Francois Arenault. There was this thing with, no, we want him with Hudson. And I'm like, Hudson has a girlfriend in real life, which he ended up revealing later on, which I told y'all that from the beginning. And people started hating on him. Because now it's like, oh, it's the gay for pay, and all that mess. So they said that the show's diehard fans call themselves, in reference to cottage scene in episode 6, have immediately rushed online to pre-order a copy. Proof of the loon's influence, I Believe in Anything, has quickly shot to the top of Amazon's top TV books chart 6 months ahead of its October 13th release date. Now, for publishers Little Brown and Company, the 368-page book takes readers behind the curtain per a description, revealing details into everything from the casting and costume design to the thoughtful sex choreography that has led to the rise in debates and temperatures alike. Tierney also shares insight into what he chose to adapt from the author Rachel Reed's Game Changers book series and what he left out. And he reveals why some characters were given more screen time in the hockey show and why others were better left as bench warmers. Well, because while you can be a little more descriptive in a book, I think and I think people would misconstrue this. They think that everything that's in a book can actually work on the show or a movie or whatever the case is, and that usually isn't the case. A lot of times it's like, you know what? Rachel may have been able to explore these characters a lot more in the book, but when we're talking about for cinematic purposes or time or story situations, these characters are far more interesting than these characters who probably work better in a descriptive way in the book. So a lot of times it's always like visual creative differences. So as the publisher's description teases, featuring annotations of scene directions, intimacy, choreography, costume insights, and more, alongside Tierney's never-before-seen scripts, this book gives fans a new way to come to the cottage. Now, Heated Rivalry has not only been a hit with viewers, it's been a hit with critics as well. The Canadian-produced series earned 18 nominations at the upcoming Canadian Screen Awards, including Best Drama Series. It has also been nominated for a Peabody Award and won the GLAAD Award for Outstanding New Television Series. Now, in a panel at BookCon in New York over the weekend, Tierney teased that season 2 of the series would be totally different, adding that the storyline would head into much more serious territory. The new season is expected to premiere in 2027. I'm like, are y'all going to give us the Queer as Folk zhuzh? Which was, remember when people was complaining about Queer as Folk being too sexual? Oh, it's too sexual. Oh, y'all focus too much on the drugs and the partying and the clubs and the this and the that. We loved all of that. I loved all that surface shit. But I also liked a couple of the deep things that they would get into as well. But then they decided, oh, we have to be taken seriously. So they started to transition into more serious topics. And I felt like the show just started it started to lose its momentum. And that was around season 4. So they did 5 seasons. So around season 4 is when I started to kind of teeter off a little bit. The first 3 seasons is like my favorite. I actually think season 3 is the best season out of Queer as Folk because of the music specifically, which I think like the music was specifically made for the show, especially when you had Some Lovin' from Christine W. and all that other stuff, and then that whole situation. So it was more wrapped up in revolving the music and everything around the show. Whereas in the first couple of seasons, it really wasn't doing that. So this is good news for a lot of the Heated Rivalry fans, or the loons as they call them. And it's like, I just hope that when it comes down to it, that this opens a door. And I say this so many times, I'm gonna keep saying it until it happens. Hopefully with the success of the Heated Rivalry, it'll open more doors for more queer programming to get put out there, because we definitely need it. I just hope it happens, like that we get a resurgence the same way that with Queer as Folk and the L Word and Noah's Ark and so many others that came over those years. I just feel like we need that resurgence, and we need more content geared towards the community to happen. So with this success, hopefully there's more people out there looking for their own version of Heat Rivalry. And I don't mean in the literal sense, because they will do that. We got to find a movie, a book, something based on a book that features sports and same-sex couples, because we need our own version of that. And it's like, no, we don't want what y'all did with Harry Potter, with the Divergence and all those things we y'all came out with, or the Maze Runners and all this other stuff, and it just didn't have that same hit factor. Y'all were just trying to grab whatever because y'all wanted to be a part of the moment. Y'all were looking for your own version of what was popular. Just take stuff that that you're authentically passionate about, adapt it, and put it out there. And if it feels really authentic and natural or whatever, people will gravitate towards it. Because they'll smell bullshit and a copycat a mile away. People aren't stupid, mostly, especially when it comes to stuff like this. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Ever since I saw the book in person, I've been craving to read it. So definitely after I finish my current read, I honestly don't know much about what happens besides bits from the ending of the show. I'll probably never watch the show though. One book in this series explores homosexuals' age gaps, which tickles my fancy more than two closeted hockey players bumping sticks. Well, that would be fascinating to read about, the age gap in a homosexual relationship, and what is it that they see in each other. That's definitely something interesting to explore. All right, y'all. So let's get into our final topic. And let's talk about this drag race story. So look, season 18 finally done. Thank you, Jesus. We're about to get All Stars next month, so fairly soon. And we're not even going to get season 19 until 2027. Because it's always once a year, or annually, I should say. Season 19 ain't been announced yet. We don't even know if they started filming the show. I believe they did film the show. But there's already rumors circulating that one of the queens who was supposed to be on the show, and I'm starting to think that this might be some rage bait over on, if this turns out to be true, on World of Wonder and the production department's behalf, because y'all was out here bitching and moaning that season 18 was boring. It was a kumbaya season. Y'all were bored. It was a chop, all that other stuff. And now, with all of that being said, they're talking about that they may have brought a Trump supporter or someone who actually voted for Trump on the show to be one of the queens, one of the competing queens on the show. So RuPaul just crowned the winner of season 18, and they said that the show is not going to come out until next year. And there's the show, one queen's already come under fire for allegedly being a Trump supporter. So Tammy Faye Brown hasn't been announced as part of the upcoming cast, but that hasn't stopped the Drag Race superfans on Reddit from compiling videos proving that the Alabama drag queen is potentially part of the MAGA movement. And so, who is this queen, and are the rumors of her political affiliations true? Now, how all this stemmed is because I didn't even know anything about this until I posted this thing about Hormona Lisa making a comment about Tammy Faye. Oh, y'all trying to bring this girl on the show, and now we already got stereotypes of people from the South being Trump supporters, or they're ignorant, or low, or not educated, and all of those things. And somebody went and posted, but isn't this you with her in a picture? I mean, I don't know how long ago that was. And here's the thing. Just because you end up in a group picture with someone does not necessarily mean you align with their political ideologies. And I think people need to understand. And that's why I hate about the fact that if you get caught in a picture. It's the same thing when we talked about with Lauren Boebert, four-eyed nasty ass, taking that picture with Dave Chappelle, and how he got upset because she decided to post a picture and create a whole narrative around the photo to push her transphobic agenda, because Dave Chappelle is notorious for telling transphobic jokes. So now you go off and tell your jokes and you do all this, that, and the other, and you're mad because, shocker, a Republican, or I should call her a Republican, decided to take something and create a whole narrative around it. without your permission? Welcome to America, sir. This is what these people do. So you can't be mad. You're the one that opened up that can of worms, and now what happened. Now the only thing you can do is retaliate with your little stand-up. Same thing with this one. Doesn't necessarily mean just because Mona Lisa took a picture, unless there's people that got further evidence of Mona Lisa in court of some shenanigans. But I'm just going based over what they said in retaliation to her trying to go and throw shade at Tammy Faye Brown in this situation. So Tammy Faye is a queen from, but yeah, don't get her confused with Tammy Brown from season 1. I know because the names are just it's too familiar. So she's a hairstylist and drag performer for Northern Alabama who hosted a dance party at the Furnace in Birmingham back in February, where Drag Race star Sasha Colby was performing and having a meet and greet. Brown posts videos on Instagram and TikTok showing off both her career as a hairstylist and a drag queen. So she went viral couple of days ago, on April 17th, when rumors started spreading that she was being cast on season 19, and someone reported an old TikTok video where she said, I actually voted for Trump. Now, the post of the Drag Race Reddit from RPDR Drama quickly picked up steam, with many people commenting how disappointed it was to see someone who claims to be part of the LGBTQ plus community supporting Trump and the MAGA movement. So I do have that clip because you know I got to come with the receipts, so y'all believe it yourselves. So, hold on, let me pull her up, and yes, is it there? Okay, we got it. So we're gonna play the clip, and then we're gonna come back and talk. Please hold.
Good morning, Nathan. I think we need to clear up a few things. The first I want to say is I'm a gay man in America. Second, I want to say is that I have my nails painted. Third, I want to say that I actually voted for Donald Trump.
Okay, so wait, no, we don't. No, hold on. We don't need Kelly Mantle up in here. Let me take that out. I just went to the next video. So there was that one, and this is why I hate, because it's like, oh, okay, I got it. So there's another video that she did that's a TikTok video. We'll get into that in a second. So yeah, someone went and said, I really don't want to even entertain the idea of this being a nuanced conversation. This is what they said in the Reddit thread. She voted for a man who has actively campaigned on bigotry and hatred and is a confirmed rapist and pedo. She betrayed her community to be part of a community that will throw her under the bus. Well, one of the things that they were saying about that also, that she said the reason why she voted for Trump is because I guess the tax incentives. And here's the thing, what people need to realize that yeah, you're a small business person and you know, y'all jumping on this whole thing with the tax exempt. He ain't thinking about y'all. He thinking about the 1%. So it's the Jeff Bezoses. It's the Tim Cooks. Well, he actually stepped down, so he's no longer running Apple. They got a new person in there. But all the people that are the oligarchs, or the people that run the companies, the Fuckerbergs, and you know the Ellisons, and all these other rich people, the wealthy, the elites, the ones that's part of the 1%. Those are the ones he's looking out to give tax exemptives to, not little old you with your little shop in Alabama. He ain't thinking about that. But of course, a lot of y'all think selfishly. It's going back to the Caitlyn Jenner thing. Oh, I'm going to vote against all the things to do with me being trans, but because I'm a part of the 1% and I'm rich, it's not going to affect me. Now that I realize that it is affecting me because my gender marker got M on it instead of F, and he's not returning my calls because he's busy. Yeah, busy on live social, writing full-fledged lunatic-induced paragraphs on whatever it is he wants to just ramble on about politically. That's how busy he is. He's so damn busy. They preventing him from giving briefs in the Situation Room. He's not even being briefed on a lot of the stuff that's going on with this current war, because they know he's gonna fuck it up. This is actual facts. Look it up. And I'm talking about going on your Fox News and going on MSNBC or MS Now and CNN. They're not gonna tell you the truth. You got to go into the actual progressive sites, like the I've Had It podcast. Hal Kalinski's talking about it on his Secular Talk show. his wife is talking about on her show. There's a lot of people out here that's really giving the real news of what's going on in real time. Midas Touch, like watch a lot of these progressive shows. They're the ones that's updating you on, or will update you on what's really happening. So I just think that a lot of these people, y'all just be thinking selfishly instead of, you know. Now I should say this: she has spoken openly about her political beliefs multiple times over the years, and while she has publicly admitted to voting for Trump, she also said that she doesn't consider herself a Republican. So yeah, so not only did she say she voted for him in a TikTok video that was posted on Reddit, but in an interview with Red Reporting on YouTube in 2021, she said, "To me, I'm not a Republican. I'm more Democrat than anything," despite admitting that she supported Trump at the time. Well, and then she said that she was starting a cosmetology business. She couldn't support Joe Biden and his tax plan, and so when you say you're not a Republican, you're more Democrat. I'm like, what kind of Democrat? You a centrist Democrat, like a Democrat that leans more on the Republican side? Because those are the Kamala Harris Democrats. Those are the Joe Biden Democrats. Those are the Cory Booker Democrats. Those are the John Fetterman Democrats. They vote more Republican than progressive Democrat, like which I would consider myself being a Zora Mamdani type of Democrat. So I can't say AOC because I'm side-eyeing her right now for some shit that she recently said. But and then Ilhan Omar, she done got pissed me off because now she aligning herself with fucking Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'm like, what the hell's wrong with y'all? The squad done lost their damn mind. But regardless of that, I do have that TikTok of hers. I told you I don't subscribe to TikTok, but when clips can pop up, you can still luckily pop things open and play the video. So I have the TikTok of Miss Thing over there trying to justify her voting for Trump. We're gonna play that clip and then we're gonna come back and talk.
Basically, I got the receipts. Let's get into it because it's a lot. Today at work, you're gonna have to just pause. I got this message that says somebody at Icon Tuscaloosa said that I was a Republican and a Trump supporter. They would never say who it was, but obviously this was my response that said, well, this is obviously a lie. My drag mother's the only host there. Chips is my sister, said I was from Coleman when they announced me one time. Maybe that's where it come from, but don't take my family out their character. I also am a drag advocate, create opportunities, and truly strive to bring the community together. And I appreciate you reaching out. But honestly, I feel like my actions and contributions to the community are a telltale sign of my morals, values, and deeply held beliefs. So I get on Facebook, also pause. A bar owner in Birmingham is saying that I'm hearing rumors about entertainers in the community, support Felon 47s beyond my comprehension, blah, 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 blah. How would you expect people to come support you? Those are on the same day, folks. It might not be about me, but hey, if it is, it's not true. And it's actually defaming and crazy and divisive. Like, who does that? I think it's important to know that I'm hosting a party at the Furnace because after my sold out brunch of 225 people in December, they called and asked me if I would help promote, produce, and plan this party for them. So I am a paid contractor. It's not my party. We did have to take ticket sales down about a week and a half ago because we were not in compliance with the ABC rules and regulations because we did not know that as a private club, you couldn't pre-sale tickets. Well, it's not my tickets. I'm just promoting it. So I had to let the people know you can't get them online no more. There's another post that said whoever called the ABC board about our online pre-sale tickets for our RuPaul Drag Race guest this month, thank. After saying that there was a Republican amongst us. So, I mean, I have nothing to do with the ticket sales, so I don't give a fuck who sells tickets to what, honestly. Okay? I just don't. Whether the party is successful or it's not, I'm paid. I've done my job. It's not mine. I owned the brunch. I don't own this. Paid. But if it wasn't enough, here are some receipts of things I've said about Donald Trump with years ago. More things I've said in a group chat full of Republicans. Go vote with a blue heart. Those are just some things that I personally posted and said with my chest. So here's what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to post defaming things about other people. Take these for facts for what you want them. This is real life receipts that you can find online. They might not be about me, but it's just a coincidence. I'm not a Republican. I'm not sowing discord and disunity within our community. I'm trying to bring it together in coalition. That's how we get things done. Bringing two communities together to show the injustice and the unfair treatment that we are receiving right now is my main priority. Also safe and inclusive spaces for everyone in the community. Yeah, I said it. As a leader of our community, we should be uplifting one another, supporting one another, wanting gay businesses to thrive. But hey, if you play silly games, you get silly prizes. One thing about me is I'm not scared. You can't bully me Over here, we're just trying to sing Kumbaya, love one another, have a party with Sasha Colby, and live our best life because we're 26 years old. So I'm not going to be fighting with a 50-year-old man on Facebook. I'm thriving, living my best life, and so should you. I love our community, and I'm going to keep fighting for it. I'm going to keep entertaining it, and I'm going to keep supporting all queer businesses. But one thing I will not do is tolerate a bully. I can't be bullied, and I can't be scared or backed into a corner. So do your best, because come hell or high water, I would prefer sunny skies and easy breezy, beautiful cover girl. This party's fucking happening, and it's going to be sickening, and I'm going to.
I think we got enough. Child, first of all, did y'all understand a fucking word she said? You were just like speed talking. I get that you Southern, but like take a breath. It was like it's like sound like you was like one of them people in a damn auction trying to sell some shit. I was like, take a breath, sis. But now you sit over there and talk about play stupid games, win stupid prizes. But if you was over there supporting the man and your businesses is not thriving, whatever the case is, then that's on you. So I was hella confused by what the fuck she was talking about because she was talking too damn fast for my brain to even comprehend. I just heard was like the sounds, but trying to take the moment to understand what the hell. Maybe y'all speak countryer than me. But and we do talk pretty fast in New York. But I'm like, damn, sis. But yeah, so at the end of the day, look, we don't know if she's going to be on the show. We'll just have to wait to see how it all turns out. Like they said, like the what is it that she acted offended that people in her community think she's conservative. And my thing is this, but look, if they're saying like, yeah, you voted for Trump, you're from the South, you should realize that these stereotypes, they play into certain things. And when you go and you vote for a man who's jumped on a political side of conservatism, that they don't like anybody unless you white male, which you clearly are. And a lot of times, quiet as it's kept, a lot of gay men will vote Trump because they're men first. Well, they're white first, male or male first, white second, which is a white man in general. But then the gay comes after the fact. But you can always fall in your white privilege and your male privilege before you fall in the gay privilege. And then when things start getting taken away, because we know there's a lot of closet cases that's in MAGA. I mean, quiet as it's kept, or is it really that quiet? We hear that grinder be going off the damn chains whenever there's an RNC situation, Republican National Convention, or any kind of event where there's a bunch of Republicans around. And now we heard that TMZ is now going to be devoting their time to exposing a lot of politicians and the things they do. So people like Lady G, Lindsey Graham, and a couple of others should be shaking in their boots in regards to being exposed for their alleged closeted homosexual misdeeds. So as you said, and I'm gonna say it right back at you, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. So you can't be surprised that people think based off of you being a Southern belle, you coming from Alabama, of course they're gonna think those stereotypes. Okay, you someone from like some old hick town. Clearly, you might be a racist or be a supporter of Trump. So you can't be surprised if the stereotype is actually plaguing you. I think I also recently Vita Star from the recent season of Drag Race went in and made comments about her at Scorpios because she was on there and they were asking about the whole controversy, whatever. So it's like, at the end of the day, you can't be surprised by the way people are reacting when something like this comes out. So my thing is this: if you did support Trump, that's fine. You could vote for whoever the hell you want to vote for. I've been saying this many times. I even said that with Caitlyn Jenner and even Chili. Because some people were sitting there trying to defend Chili in these situations. I said, look, I don't give a fuck who you vote for. Vote how you want to vote. But here's the thing. You don't get to jump off the shit when the Titanic is sinking. You're the one that forced us to hit the fucking iceberg. You stay on that shit. Ride it out. You don't get to get sympathy, empathy like this old fat neck motherfucker Tucker Carlson to my, I'm sorry for supporting. No, the fuck you not. Not because y'all fighting that now, you sorry? Sorry, apology not accepted. Wallow in your shit. You made your bed, lie in it. And that's why I don't like the fact that people make decisions, then they realize they fucked up. They try to bail out of the responsibility. And so if you went and voted for this man, own it. Live on it. And my thing is this: Drag Race, y'all are messy because we see what y'all trying to do. The fact of the matter was, this past season was a chop. People was bored. People were talking about it was a kumbaya season. People was not really feeling this season. Now, don't get me wrong, it was a strong group of girls. I just didn't like a lot of the production interference and the way that y'all were trying to steer this ship to go a certain way, and it wasn't working. Because you was trying to get these girls to do some stuff and it wasn't working the way y'all wanted it to work. So this season was just a full-fledged chop for the most part. It had its moments, but for the most part, I was bored. But now it's like you trying to rage bait, which is what y'all trying to pull that same shit y'all did when y'all knew damn well that Athena won that damn Lollapalooza lip sync. So y'all want to purposely say she didn't win to get us all pissed off and riled up. So that's what you're doing. You rage baiting because I knew you had a dry ass season. So now you're trying to create controversy so that when we sit at home and watch it, and then all of a sudden, when it's time for the show to start and she's on there, she's gonna get all this bullying and online hate. And I'm not defending and saying that is not warranted. Because we already know how a bunch of you damn trolls in this Drag Race fandom get anyway. But y'all doing this because it just seems like it's a ratings ploy. It just feels like I smell a stunt, in the words of Alyssa Edwards. So we'll just have to wait until we get close to the end of the year when they make the official announcement of when we gotta meet the queens. And if she is on the show, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But in the meantime, we just gonna have to speculate. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this messy ass Drag Race story? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. We had a queen down here who voted for Trump, and she was basically blacklisted because no one wanted to see her after that. That kind of remember Tranica Rex, when she used to host Roscoe before Naisha Lopez, and how she got caught out for being a racist and all this other stuff. And yeah, she pretty much been blacklisted. So I get it. Remember, Silky said she was a Republican. I mean, from that dry ass perm, of course she is. Tammy's argument is voting for Trump. And voting for Trump is I couldn't get behind Biden's tax plan because she was hoping to start up a cosmetology business, sure, but it's still weird that a cross-dresser, a cross-dresser. I have family that voted for him. I'm sure I have family that did too, but I'm not gonna let them go. I love my mom, but I guess for truck drivers, he did more for them, not charging them for overtime miles. Well, here's the thing also, wasn't they also going after truck drivers and stuff in regards of it might have been, but it might have been foreign drivers, a lot of the immigrants who work here, who drive a lot of trucks and stuff. There was something I remember that I heard about. They were going after truck drivers. I'm gonna have to look that up. But he says so many of friends voted for him in 24, and I didn't see a reason why I had to cut them out of my life because they had genuine criticisms about Kamala that weren't rooted in bigotry. They made a point. Well, I definitely made comments about Kamala Harris on why she now you got Cory Booker, the Timu Barack Obama running around here doing full on pastor moments, acting like he in a church, talking about why people didn't vote for. I was like, boy, if you don't shut your ass up, he said you can hear that accent exactly heavy. So she voted for him in 2020 and similarly voted for Kamala in 2024. Well, you're only as good as your last. Yeah, that was the first term, right? Oh no, that was the term that Biden won. I could understand every word she said, but that's just a Southern thing. No, I understood it too, but it was just who are we leaving alone and who's hating? You said, oh, you said Cher's son trial date has been set for prep school. Sent the article to you. I had no idea it was that bad. She only bailed on the idea, but it sounds like she's got a team to the way. It's not like, well, no. if he's out, like we already had the conversation about him being heavily into drugs and being irresponsible, and the fact that he gets a 100 and what is it that I said $150,000 a month allowance, which is crazy, and you wasting all of that on expensive Airbnbs, staying at the Chateau Marmont, and doing drugs. Like, what the hell? Are you crazy? That's a lot of money to just be wasting. Well, Silky is registered a Republican because of gentrification and strict boundaries. She registered as a Republican so they don't have to redo anything, the gerrymandering in Tennessee. Is that where she lives? Anyway, I thought Silky lived in like California or something. Anyway, all right, y'all. So we at the end of the show. All right. Thank you for tuning in. Oh my God, they got a natural picture of Amber Rose. She looks a mess. See, that's what happens when you hating on black folks. You start looking like Eileen Wernos. That's what the bitch look like. So all right, so we're at the end of the show. I want to thank you all for tuning in to the latest episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Hit that like button, subscribe, smash the notification bell, all that good stuff. I'll see you guys in a couple of days because I'm gonna be busy this for a couple of days with a lot of shows and things. So yeah, see you when I see you, which will probably be next Monday. But yeah, love you all for watching. Thank you for your continued support and all that good stuff. And until next time, ciao, darlings.